What is up, everyone? Welcome to another edition of AOS Trash Pandas. I'm your host, Rob, and with me, as usual, is my co-host, Carson. How's it going, Carson?
It's going pretty well, Rob. Thank you for asking. Thank you for asking every week. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing great. I'm doing real good. You know what? Can I just take a moment to shout out everyone who has bought dice from the Etsy store? Thank you to you, especially you in the back there. You bought some dice for a friend in Austria.
And I forgot to bring it to him. But he lives in Alberta. So I bought dice from you to bring to Austria to give to a friend from Alberta.
Yes.
So
yeah. It made sense.
Yeah, it makes sense.
But yeah, shout outs to everyone. I had like another person, Pat. Hey, Pat has also bought dice. I had another person like order, and they just announced like a Canada Post strike is gonna happen probably on Friday, and then I contacted them, and the person was just like, whatever, whatever's most convenient for you. And I was like, who is this customer? Like, what an amazing person, because like they're in the UK, and like I'm not sure if it's gonna get out in time for them to, get it past the point where Canada Post is controlling it. But like everyone who's ever had a problem has been so nice and reasonable. It feels nothing like when I worked retail for 7 years. You know what I mean? And I was working like in the tourist sector, so where everyone was like presumably on vacation and pretty easygoing, which was mostly true, but still it doesn't compare to the people that I've had to deal with so far on Etsy. It's been really awesome. So I appreciate all of them. Okay. I've got up this image, but I forgot to click it back over to the rumor engine. Dang it. I went the wrong way. This is like the worst kind of rumor engine, right? Like,
Pretty bad.
It's pretty bad. The only thing I will say about it is we haven't gotten an AOS one in ages. And this is the first one where I'm like, it's probably AOS. Like, they're giving me some hope here. You know what I mean? But
yeah, the only hints that you get are like the paint scheme that's on it.
Right.
It almost looks like it has like veins, like marble or something like that, or something weird like granite, maybe. But then the other thing that I thought was like maybe it's like slimy, like fish, slimy or something like that. And it's like a prong of like some weird spiny fish.
Oh,
perhaps.
Interesting.
Like that's what kind of comes to mind for me.
I didn't think of that at all, to be honest. I'm always looking out for Idoneth, previews and whatnot, which we have in a minute. My thought was I thought it was actually like a stick because I think it's really small. So I was thinking maybe it's like a little like twig, like what do you call it? Like casting rod kind of thing. You know what I mean? But yeah, I didn't consider that. And like, I guess they could have even like deleted other stuff around it, right? Like,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they could have removed the background completely. Like, it's just like an isolated, tiny little thing.
Yeah,
like a fin or something like that.
I mean, that would be sick. It looks like we're getting the Idoneth preview pretty quick. Hello, a Gargant fork. Well, I do think that this is like a very small object because like you can see the pigment.
Is it a fork if it only has two prongs? Wouldn't it be a toque?
A toque?
Yeah.
I don't think it's a bident because I think it's so small.
Yeah,
but,
that's true.
A Burk?
What if it's like
B-I-R-K?
Chopsticks at a weird angle.
I feel like you're right. We just missed the obvious there,
Yeah.
Because we know it's small again. Right?
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. I think
it's the Scourge of Ghyran Pontifex Sinestra like eating some chow mein on her on her pedestal.
Oh, actually, if it's that, it's probably what's it called? The Jade Empire, whatever they were called in the old world. Cathay, yeah.
Yeah.
Right? It's probably Cathay chopsticks, now that I think about it.
Yeah, it's gotta be.
How many times are on a meat fork, Saul says? Usually 2, right?
Yeah, that's true.
It could be an ogre fork, like a bone fork or something.
It's too thin, I feel like. It would be like...
Yeah.
And it doesn't look crappy enough. Like...
That's true. It doesn't look crappy enough.
Well, like, everything ogres have is like jury-rigged or stolen, right?
That's true.
So...
Yeah, that's fair. But I mean, like, I don't know why you're denying, the possible thing that you love. Like, whenever someone's like, it could be Skaven, Rob, and I'm like thinking, like, there's no way. But sure, I hope so, Like, I'll go with that. I'm glad the dice helped. Yeah, you're rolled horribly. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. Gargant fork. It's the bit that hold the bit into the sprue. It's the bit that also bit into the sprue. Yeah, that's probably true as well. Yeah.
That'd be an amazing troll if they just like took a picture of like a cut piece of sprue.
Right?
I'm like, here you go.
One day. Or it's like the inner bit that like puts 2 pieces together or something like that. The what's it called? Like the dowel like thing that's on the easy build, Take a picture of the inside of a miniature. Just like, God dang it, you piece of crap. Pick of a plasma pistol. It could be Skaven though. Yes, that's pretty much that's pretty much where I live, and that's pretty much where I've lived for the past long time regarding anything that could possibly be Idneth. Now I saw a comment. It was very funny but very mean that Games Workshop is essentially a multi-million-dollar company that's run by children, and that's why they put out this picture of the Idneth spoiling some of these new Idneth models that we're getting. But I highlighted down below here. It says the Kraken Eater gets a new war scroll, having traveled to Ghyran for some good eating. Not only is he a bit more stompy, he can now also lurk beneath the waves or in a suitably deep swamp ready to emerge when the time is right. No, I was going to say, don't you guys think that means that they meant to leak these images? But now I'm wondering if it's just the theme of the Kraken Eater that they're just kind of pulling up. Dang it. I was really ready to give them the benefit of the doubt here. But yeah, anyway, I guess we'll just move right along to this amazing here. I'll take off the overlay. Window. Wait, why did it? Oh, it went into the folder. Nope. Okay. Well, anyway, I guess I won't take off the overlay. I don't want anything else to happen. But like, what do you guys think that these things are? Like, I mean, we know that like one of them is going to be a foot hero. But like, look how big this thing is on the right here. I'm just covering up me and Carson, but that's fine. That thing is huge. Like, it's almost as tall as a Gargant. Like, it couldn't be a spell, which is what I kept hearing. Like, I think it's going to be a centerpiece hero, right? Oh, maybe.
You talking about like the big like water dragon looking thingy?
Yeah.
I think it could be a spell. Like it is huge. You're right.
It's freaking huge, dude. And it's slightly behind the Gargant.
Could be like an incarnate that's like unique to IDK or something.
Oh, that would be sick. But I'm wondering, like, you just said water dragon, right?
Yeah.
That's what's described at the end of the Prince Lurian Idneth Deepkin novel. Is he gets this like water shark dragon like chariot thing that he rides, right? So I'm kind of wondering, and also by the way, his novel and his character takes place in Ghyran. So this is Scourge of Ghyran.
Yeah, that could be it.
Maybe he's the Scourge we're all been waiting for,
Maybe.
Scotty says it's not a Kraken, that's for sure. That's almost certainly true. Now, we did get like some like rumors about like what else it could be. There is also this really cool hero down here. and then there's this other dude in the background. So it like this guy here that's leading the thralls. That model is sick. It's probably an impaler on foot, I'm thinking. And I have no notes. Like, that guy looks sick to me. Okay? But an Achillean dude on foot? Like, what are we doing here? But like, we need another guy on like an eel or some other thing. I don't know. We don't need any more foot heroes for Idnith. We have more than enough, especially an Achillean one. Like, it's crazy. We've got the Thrall Master, we've got the Soul Render, and I think they might both be like, one's Achillean, I think the other is Sharon. But like, they're already filling these slots. But whatever. As long as we're getting more, the rumor is that we're not. The White Fang guy or whatever, who's been spoiling stuff for ages, said it's like 3 units and 2 heroes. So, but like, I can't imagine we're not getting spells at this point. I don't know what you think, but like, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like every army is going to get them, probably.
Right? Yeah.
Like, I would also hope that. I mean, I guess it's a little unfair for the armies that don't have it and won't have a book soon, but I would hope, because they mentioned in one of the articles, and I guess this is a spoiler for later in the show, that some endless spells or like manifestation lores are going to come with a cost.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So I would almost hope that it's like the universal ones cost something, and then your armies, you can just have them because it's part of your army, right?
That feels like it would make sense considering like the average power of the what do you call it? The army endless spells compared to everything else. It seems like, you know what I mean? We're not, yeah. And also like, if you look at like rules, like they always talk about this on Warhammer Weekly, but like, if you look at like the armies of renown, they can always only take 1 endless spell if they can take anything at all, which locks them out of their own lore, but they can take 1 of their own endless spells, or you can take the much better option of taking a general endless spell lore, which is, it's like always the right decision, right? So it feels like maybe this is like something they've had in the works for a while. But yeah, I hope so. Because like Idnith endless spell are like such an easy thing. You could like, I've got a million ideas for cool endless spells that they could make, you know?
Yeah. Also, Alex says that they're clearly spells you can see the water spouts are on bases.
Yes. So that is one of them. That's true. That's true. That's a good point. There's this one in the back, but if you look at this thing here, it's like on a huge base. Like you can see the rim of the base here, I think. Yeah, that's a good point though. I forgot about those in the background. Oh, here I can zoom in. Ha-ha! I forgot about that. Alex is talking about this thing back here. You can see my mouse, right? Yeah, you can see my mouse.
Like the little... Oh, yes. Yeah, I see in the very background.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a tentacle.
Yeah. I think it's going to be like some kind of like, you know, spiky thing. I mean, there's also the fact that the book is coming out fairly soon. Oh, now you can? Okay. And then...
Yeah. I wouldn't be that surprised if the big like water dragon thing is an endless spell. Because...
Maybe... But like
it looks pretty big, but the picture's at a bit of an angle, so it's not like quite as big as a Gargant. But think of how big the Jaws of Ravenak are. Like that's a thick model, right?
It is,
or the Purple Sun is huge.
It
right?
is quite big, but it like does it come up like even halfway on a Gargant?
I think it does. Like Gargants they're big, but they're not like that big.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Yeah, maybe you're right. Yeah. The other, well, I was also looking at it saying like the back, like it's behind the Gargant and it's that big, right? So I don't know. Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe I'm just like seeing what I want to see because I've been talking about Prince Lurien. I've been talking about getting a Kraken. I've been talking about getting a Kraken since AOS 1, since Forge World was still making AOS models. That's how long. Vampirates. That's what everyone says. Cool. Yeah.
Is the Impaler guy that you're talking about technically a foot hero if his feet are not currently touching the ground?
You got me there. Like, he looks sick, though. They always have, like, a staff in the lore. Again, I would highly recommend the Embaler-focused short story. You can find on Black Library. Yeah. I hope he's fast, though, because, like, we do not need more foot heroes that cannot keep up. Like, at least the Achillean foot hero surfing that wave in the background looks like he'll be able to keep up, right? Like, looks like he's got some speed on him, but it looks like the background is raised as well. Yeah, there's some of this stuff in the background that is raised. So when I was talking about the height of it, I was talking about this one. But if you look at here, right, and then this guy's base would be like down here, right? So then, like, theoretically, it'd be even bigger than that, because, like, if they appear if they're behind things in photographs, right? Like, look at my hand, right? It's not that far. My camera keeps zooming in for some reason. Stop it, camera. I gotta, like, go backwards more. Yeah, see that? See how my hand looks bigger? Photography. Anyway, I'm super excited. These were, like, my first AOS love of an army. I put, more work into painting them back when I was, still kind of learning how to paint in a lot of ways. But, like, it was the first army I just fully went all out, doing my best to paint. So I'm super, super excited for this. I hope it's not just a couple of foot heroes and some endless spells. I really hope that we get a proper expansion, but we'll see,
Yeah. I've kind of started, like, analyzing every little bit of this picture. And I wonder if you look at the very top right in like the corner.
Yeah.
It looks like a blade and then like another curved blade.
Oh, that's the Achillean king with a sword.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Or I don't think it's Volturnos. I think it's the Achillean. Pretty sure, because I think that's the Deep Mare's, like, tentacle thing right here. Oh, you can't see it on the stream. One second, everyone. I apologize. There we go. That's now. Oh no, you can't quite see everything still. There we go. Or I'm gonna like zoom in for everyone here. Enhance. Oh no, it's already enhanced. Darn it. Can you all see that? Yeah, I was really hoping for a Kraken at some point, but
I mean,
we'll see.
Still not out of the question.
It's not. It's definitely not. I'm, like, I designed the channel logo around a Kraken, like an octopus kind of thing, right? Or whatever. It's like it's supposed to be a Kraken. So I do like them. I think it'd be really cool. And, like, it'd be like a very original thing. The other thing that I was kind of hoping for is that, anyway, I was hoping that they would, like, resurrect Mathlin, or, like, have, like, some kind of avatar of, like, his soul that they bring up out of Slaanesh, and he's, like, combined, and, like, his lower half is like an octopus, and his upper half is, like, basically imagine if they took Ariel's father, whatever his name is, and Ursula from The Little Mermaid, and combined them, like, his upper half and her lower half. You know what I mean? And so you got, like, this, like, trident
Isn't
bearing.
Ariel's father Neptune or Poseidon?
Oh, is that what his name was? Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Yeah. Neptune or
Oh no, King Triton. That's his name.
Triton. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
What a trite name. Yes. Thank you. Anyway, now that I'm almost done embarrassing myself, I will continue. Almost. I'm never going to be quite finished. My work is never done. But yeah, it looks really cool. I'm super excited for that. And now I can't remember how I had these articles. I think I had it at the bottom.
I can tell you which ones are like in order if you just want to go in order from when they released.
Sure. Yeah, I just realized I moved a bunch of stuff around. So like the overlays
it starts
are all
with
messed
corn.
up. Okay, cool. Actually, I wasn't sure about that. Oh, and then by the way, someone did post a bunch of like rumor engines that were spoiled in this image, and all three of them were absolutely called by at least me. I think both of us were like, "Yep, Idnith" for all three of them. So that was kind of cool. So yeah. Anyway, blades of corn, the corn blades. That's all I got. Fit to width.
All right.
Okay. Now, if you could please talk about these things, and I am going to try and fix the overlay while you're doing that. Cool.
Sounds good. So Khorne got 2 new battle formations. They got a new prayer lore, and then they got 2 new war scrolls, or like 2 war scroll overhauls. So the first battle formation is the Tournament of Skulls, which is once per turn in your hero phase, you can pick a non-hero Bloodbound unit and a non-hero Blades of Khorne demon unit to be the target. Until the start of your next turn, while they're wholly within 12 inches of each other, you add 1 to wound rolls for the target's combat attack. So basically, what this formation wants you to do is like synergize Khorne mortals with Khorne demons. So like if you had a pack of like blood warriors and blood letters, and they stayed close to each other, they both have +1 to wound, which is kind of neat, but
that's pretty cool. I don't know.
It's cool, but I don't know if it's like, worth it.
Will it replace the? Well, there's already one that does the mortals demons mix where you're fighting one after the other. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So like, isn't that better? Probably.
Well, I think the problem lies in like Khorne demons that are not heroes anyway aren't particularly good right now.
Fair.
So it's kind of like here's a synergy for something you don't really want to do anyway.
Yeah.
So it's not great. Like it's powerful, but it's not great. And you can already get +1 to wound with like a what's his name?
I don't know. What is
Skull Taker? Skull is a mortal hero who he can like chain activate with like blood warriors, and it gives both himself and them +1 to wound. So.
I never know their names. Like I played Andy over the weekend with his Khorne, and I was like, I thought blood crushers were the mortals, and he's like, no, those are skull crushers. I'm just like, good God.
Yeah.
Like, couldn't they have done something, man? Like, it's just, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just every possible combination of blood and skull and crusher
it's way worse than Space Wolves. It's like way worse than Space Wolves. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty big. Then, so the other one is Gore Tide, which is you can pick a friendly Bloodbound hero and up to 2 other friendly Bloodbound units that are wholly within 12 inches of that hero, and you add 2 inches to the target's move characteristic for the rest of the turn. And that's once per turn, army-wide in your movement phase. So basically, this is like, congratulations, you have Field Sergeant again in the next edition, or the next GHB. So, which isn't bad. Like if you just need movement, I don't think it's a terrible option. I think like a really popular choice right now for Khorne is to do the subfaction, and Devin Cortman on Team Canada ran this, is to do the +1 to hit against units that are contesting objectives that you don't control.
Sorry, my phone went off like a gunshot.
Oh.
Yeah. It's right next to me. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So I think like you might see people bringing Gore Tide if they just want to be like closing gaps a little bit faster, but
I mean, like not being, it's not like, wait, one second. Pick a friendly Bloodbound hero, right? So you're not like it's not like if you kill the one hero that you had the sergeant on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So it's a bit of a buff in that sense. Yeah. You can use it on any hero instead of like just the one, and then you're not sacrificing an enhancement that you'd be using on something else.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, the big question really is, at the end of the day, are these things going to replace what is currently, already in play? And what do you think?
I mean, the thing about Khorne is that like there's like 2 sub-factions that people bring quite often. And I think there's an argument for this one. I don't think the sub-faction is what makes the army, I guess. It's like, it just depends on what you're running.
Fair.
So if someone wants to run demons and Bloodbound, then I could see the Tournament of Skulls being good, right? But I personally wouldn't. And then with Gore Tide, if it's just like, let's say you want to show up to GTs and you don't want to just like automatically have a bad time on like spread maps, then Gore Tide might be a really safe choice because you're getting like,
right.
What would that be, like a 20% move bonus or 40% move bonus? Right?
Yeah, yeah. It depends on
5-inch
what
move.
unit. Right. Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's pretty good to be like having infantry kind of come back up. So Eric says, I suspect the missions will be determinative of what is actually good. Yeah, 100%.
True.
Like, we haven't seen what the full mission pack is going to be. If everything is like 6 objectives, then 100% I think Gore Tide is going to be used a lot. Well,
there's also one of the new scenarios apparently is you both start on the same side of the board and you're racing to get to the other or something crazy. Like that sounds like lunacy when you've got like armies like Slanesh and IDK out there, but we'll see, I guess.
Well, not even that, but just like I teleport.
Yeah, yeah, there's that too.
Great.
Yeah, Skaven, like so many armies have teleports now. Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah. That might just be one of the ones that just never gets used, you know?
Yeah. I think I remember which one you're talking about. I thought it was that you're trying to race to each other's other side of the board.
Oh, okay. Well, they've already. Maybe I'm thinking of an old. I might be thinking of an old Path to Glory scenario.
Yeah, which it makes me think of like Battle for the Pass, where you have like a home objective that's worth a lot.
Right. Or the entire game at different points in the game. And it's like if you capture this, you win. You're just like, good God, man. Yeah, it can be over so quickly.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Cool. Then the new prayer lore. So they've got 3 new prayers, and they all go off on 3s, which is kind of interesting. The first one is you pick a visible friendly Blades of Khorne unit wholly within 12 inches of the priest. Make a chanting roll of d6. Until the start of your next turn, ignore the first damage point allocated to the target in each phase. If the chanting roll is 8+, you can pick another eligible unit to be a second target. So this is just like, what is it, Manfred's old rule, right?
I think so. There's been a few of those rules floating around, you know, over time. It seems like they're doing that more and more. But.
Yeah, I think someone said in the Discord or maybe YouTube comments or something that they pointed that out. But yeah, for a prayer that goes off on a 3, you can become a Stonehorn, basically,
right?
Because that's their special rules. They ignore the first damage of every phase.
Right. Yeah,
so that's pretty good. Like we're seeing that become more popular. Like I've been seeing the Pyregeist list hang out a bunch in the Team Canada Discord, and that runs a bunch of Grolghast Cruciators, which will serve the same purpose of like just preventing the first damage of each phase. So neat.
Yeah.
Then the Rune of Loathing is the priest picks a friendly Blades of Khorne unit wholly within 12. Until the start of your next turn, the target has ward 3+ against damage inflicted by spell abilities, prayer abilities, and abilities used by manifestations, including fight abilities. And if the chanting roll is 8+, you can pick another eligible unit to be a second target. So this kind of just leans into like what Khorne already does, which is like really shut down magic heavy armies hard.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
This is very good, I think.
I think so too. Like 3-up is crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I actually don't think a 3-up ward should exist. yeah, exactly, right? Oh man, yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, so that's really solid.
Your Kronspine could become a liability mostly at that point. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, and it's until the start of your next turn too. So it's like you pop that on 2 different units, and then you can counter pray it on a 3 or on a 4, sorry, because it's -1.
Yeah, right.
And pop it on a 3rd unit, and then Croak is just like having a bad day essentially against your army.
Right. That's a jeez. Yeah, that's a good point. Or Zeech,
so
or like there's a bunch of armies that really rely on their spells and stuff. Huh.
Yeah. Like some armies won't care whatsoever. But the fact that it calls out prayer too is kind of interesting because there's some armies that have like damaging prayers or even like the invocations.
Well, that way it's not like, you know, if you end up like in a tournament where you're like, I'm only facing people with no spell lore, you're not like, well, this just sucks. This is like, I just bet everything on black and it turned up red. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, you just use the other prayers.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal.
Well, that's true. But like, at least then, like, even if you're only facing prayers, then it works against prayers. So you're kind of covered both ways.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yep. Then the last one is Gift of Apoplexy, which is the
apoplexy.
Apoplexy.
Yeah.
I can't read.
It's
The
okay.
priest picks an enemy unit, a visible enemy unit within 18 inches, and then until the start of your next turn, each time the target uses an ability that is not a move, charge, or fight ability, after that ability is resolved, inflict D3 mortal damage on the target. If the chanting roll was 8+, inflict 3 mortal damage instead of D3. So that's pretty good. That's I'm just trying to think what isn't a move, charge, or fight ability. So like shooting would be one of them. Like if you have a shooting unit, every time you shoot, you take damage. Every time you use like a war scroll ability, yeah, you can't cast spells. Yeah, the spell one is pretty backbreaking actually for like a multicast wizard, especially if you get it off on an 8+. That's really oof.
Right. Yeah. Croak, Zeech, like there's a bunch of things where, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good. And then, yeah, so this is it's an interesting prayer lore because I think right now, Khorne Khorne is like in their current prayer lore, they have like the +1 rend, which is like, it's good.
Yeah,
it's pretty good. But their Skull Reapers are already their primary form of like actually cracking saves as their mortal wound output. Mm-hmm. And then it seems like with like Blood Warriors and Wrathmongers, it's just like volume of dice, which for sure extra rend will like add to that a lot. Right. But it's not like it's good, but it's not like it doesn't make the army.
For sure.
And then the other big one in their prayer lore right now is the 18-inch Horde Breaker that I think if it goes off on like an 8 or 10+ or something, it's also a -1 to wound on that unit.
Great.
It's pretty good. But but basically what I'm saying is I could see them taking this prayer lore instead because all three of these are really good. Mm-hmm. And B, the chanting values are like ridiculously low.
Yeah, they're insane.
Especially because I think if you're inside the skull altar, you get +1 to chant, right? So it's like a 2-up.
Yep. Like, oh my gosh, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, like 2-up, and you get these awesome effects.
Well, and like the last one is 18 inches.
Yeah.
I mean, I know a lot of them are when they're like they're a debuff on a unit, but yeah, you get that thing in the right spot. It's like going off on a 3-up when you're counter casting or counter praying or whatever. Yeah, that's pretty dope.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Then they got 2 War Scroll rewrites. The first one is the Mighty Lord of Khorne, which I believe his like stat line and weapons stayed the same, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, I might as well check. But I'm pretty sure it's just his War Scroll abilities that changed.
I was surprised that the Brood Terror, he got like 2 more attacks on his crappy little thing.
Okay, I'm completely wrong. His stat profile did change.
Okay.
So his wheel is the same, but his melee weapons, the Axe of Khorne, is basically now 1 less attack, but 1 more damage, which is like a great trade-off.
Yes,
like,
agreed. Yeah. Wow. 3
and then and then the Fleshhound's Blood Dark Claws are, I think, 1 less attack, and that's it.
Okay.
Which is like okay. Like,
yeah.
It's a companion weapon. It doesn't really matter. Yeah, and so the current one basically allows a Gore Chosen unit, which I believe is like one of the hero mortal guys, to fight first. And then he also has a +1 to charge for bloodbound infantry while they're wholly within 12 of them. Now what he has is this new command ability where you declare if this unit is in combat, pick a visible, friendly, bloodbound unit that's wholly within 12 inches. So that would be like Wrathmongers, Blood Warriors, Skull Reapers. And not in combat to be the target, they make a charge roll of 2d6. So they can charge while they're not in combat. So basically, like if he's in combat, he can allow them to charge.
Right.
Which is kind of interesting for a CP in any combat phase.
And it's only once per battle, but...
It is once per battle. But the target can move a distance of up to the value of the charge roll. That unit can move through the combat ranges of any enemy units and must end that move within ½ inches of a visible enemy unit. And if it does so, the target is charged. So basically, you get to like counter charge once per game for a CP.
For 1 CP,
but it's in
2. Yeah.
In the combat phase is the big thing.
That's true. That's a great point.
Yeah.
So So if he dies to one of your, like the enemy or the opponent's, like their rampages, then it's like too bad, so sad, because that happens. This will happen after theirs. But if not, you can do some pretty tricky stuff. So
yeah, I think as well.
Yeah.
The regular universal charge ability says pick a friendly unit that has not used a run ability this turn. So I think this also allows you to like run and charge.
Right.
Let me check that though.
I don't, but like
charge.
It does have the charge keyword. Right.
Yes.
It has the charge keyword, so that might not work because
just trying to core rules. I hate the way that you have to.
I know, me too. While you're looking that up, Saul said the problem is in general the demons are kind of overcosted or just super weak compared to the bloodbound part of your army. That's what I'm hearing as well, Saul. But the nice thing is though too is we're coming up to a new GHB, and not only are we looking at probably seeing a lot of points changes in general, but they also like from time to time make minor war scroll changes in the GHB. So there could be like a real rebalancing of Khorne in general when it actually comes out. So something to be excited about.
So it's even spicier.
Really?
And the reason why is because in the regular charge ability, it says pick a friendly unit that is not in combat and has not used a run or retreat ability this turn to use this ability, then make a charge roll of 2d6. So this is like a de facto spend a CP to get retreat and charge or run and charge or like just a counter charge for 1 CP.
Whoa!
Like, you could even like redeploy and charge with this too.
Whoa! That is freaking rad!
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Holy crap! Damn, nice spotting, dude. We have to show this to Andy. We played a game and I asked him like, have you played Kragnos before? And he's like, yeah, I played him like a few times at the tournament. So you know what he does? Yeah, I know what he does. Okay. And then I charged into Scarbrand, rolled a 4 and a 6 for my value, ganked him. He countercharged with the Bloodthirster, and then I got to go first with Kragnos. I killed the other Bloodthirster. And then with my pig, I made his unit of Blood Crushers fight last, and I killed them as well. So it was, and it was brutal. So we re-racked, and then our second game came down to whether the Bloodthirster could finish off Kragnos, and I made some key rolls. But yeah, it was very fun for me. It's my first time actually playing Kragnos in 4th edition, by the way. Even though I love Kragnos more than life itself sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, and he will never pop off that hard for you again.
No.
Like
well, what's crazy though is what I said to Andy is I've never rolled a 7 because if a 7, I've rolled double ones, but I've never rolled a 7. And so it's like, obviously now I'm going to do that. And then I rolled a 4 and a 6. I'm like, okay. And then in the second game, I rolled a 1 and a 4. So you might be right.
Yeah. I remember the first time I used Kragnos in 4th edition, I rolled double 6s into Be'lakor.
Oh, I've never done that. Oh, yeah. God dang.
Rough.
Yeah.
Also, Qual says in the chat, I think you can use reroll charges command with it as well. I don't.
Oh.
I guess you can. So the using 2 command abilities thing wouldn't be a problem because the hero is using this command ability to enable another unit to do something.
Right.
But then that unit would be... Hold on.
Because you're not re-rolling. You're not re-rolling it.
Yeah. What's weird, though, is it says if this unit is in combat, pick a visible friendly bloodbound unit that is wholly within 12 inches of this unit and not in combat to be the target. However, forward to victory, the reroll charge command says used by the unit using that charge ability.
Oh.
But I guess he is making a charge roll for them.
Yeah.
But since that's the case, he can't use a second command that phase. Because you can only use one command per unit per phase.
That's true.
So I don't think you can reroll the charge.
I think that needs an FAQ because there's way too much going on there.
Yeah, it's weird.
You know what I mean? Yeah, I think we need to write in. And then, but wait, there's more. Once per turn, army, end of any turn, this unit can use this ability, even if it has been destroyed. Pick an enemy hero that was allocated any damage points, and it basically has the 5-up auto gank something. And a lot of stuff ignores this, like giants and different things like that, Kragnos, Croak, and whatnot. Certain endless spells, rather. But yeah, anyway. Oh, and Darktron made a good point. Don't forget the Khorne Battletome book around the corner, coming soon. I mean, I don't know how, like, around the corner, but, like, because we're still waiting to get the announcement for IDK, and then it's Night Haunt, and then it's KO, and then it's Khorne. So
I'm not sure about the order of
the
KO and Khorne, but yeah, we know they're coming this year at least.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah, Reality Splitting Axe is good too. It's a very good ability.
Yeah. I mean, like, remember Neferata into your what's his name?
I sure do.
Roman. We're like, well, what are the odds? And then it happens. Oh, that was crazy.
Yeah.
And crazy. What do you think about these new Blood Crushers?
Yeah, so now that we know that the stat profile has changed for the Mighty Lord of Khorne, I'm just gonna pull up their thing real quick.
Right.
So they have the same profile with the Blood Crusher Hellblade. Just kidding. No, they don't. So the old one has anti-infantry +1 rend, but this one has charge +1 damage, which I feel like should have been the case anyway.
Yeah. Like the Iron Jaws, spoiler alert, I suppose, but
yeah. So they're a little more hitty, but they have a little bit less rend against infantry, which I think is fine. Then the Juggernaut's Brass Hooves gained anti-infantry or anti-cavalry +1 rend.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's the exact same profile.
Okay.
Yeah. So just got like a little more hitty, I think.
Right.
Then. So.
They get +2 move as well. Justin says. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, they went from 8 to 10. Yeah.
Yep.
I should have remembered that because Andy literally told me. He's like, that was the thing he was probably the most excited about was +2 move. Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense. I don't know why cavalry would ever be 8. It's really silly.
There was a long time where a bunch of cavalry was 8, like all the Seraphon and anyway. But yeah.
Yeah. Then the old ability, they had basically just like a 2-up D3 mortal wounds, whereas now what they have is if this unit charges this turn, you can pick an enemy unit in combat with it to be the target. Roll a dice on a 3+. This unit can move 2d6. It can pass through models in the target unit and must end that move in combat. So basically, you get to like charge again.
Yeah, rearrange them.
Which is, well, it could be really good because your opponent could have like a screen set up and you charge like flat onto the screen. You make another charge roll and you can just like hop over them and into what you actually want to hit. So that's really good.
You could get around like trying to rearrange things. You could get around not being able to pile in. You know what I mean? Because like we're seeing more rules now where if you charge something, then they can make you unable to pile in or whatever. Like that gets around that. Like there's so many cool things you could do with that. So yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool movement shenanigans. The only thing is like they still don't hit particularly hard because it's unit size 3, right?
But they are like crit mortal +1 damage on the charge. So
yeah, but it's only 2 attacks each, and if it's a unit of 3.
Yeah, that's true.
Even with a champion, that's like 7 attacks.
Right.
On crit mortals, you're getting like 1.
Yeah. Or
2
for
if you're
2. Yeah.
Yeah.
On the charge. Yeah.
So it's like 4 mortals. You're like, okay,
that's fair.
All right. And it's like,
but then you're also got like the cavalry, which is -1 rend and D3 damage. So
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, they're not meant to be, doing.
I see them as more of a scalpel now. Like,
yeah, I think
because
so.
they can do that like charge and charge again thing.
Yeah.
They can really gum up something that you really don't want to gum up. And then it says it must end that move in combat, but it doesn't say that it has to end that move within a half inch. So even if you want to just like corner tag an enemy unit,
that's a great point. Yeah.
You charge them in and then you charge back, but like just barely within 3 inches.
Wait. But like, what about the original charge?
So you charge them in and it has to end within a half inch.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Right?
And then you're doing this afterwards. So yeah.
Yeah, and then you do it afterwards to like...
You're totally right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's...
Move further away.
Right. Dang. That's so good. I love it. Darktron says, don't forget reinforcement cavalry going to be changing in AOS 4. What are they changing about reinforcement cavalry? I didn't remember that.
Not sure.
They said, was that a rumor, Darktron, or was that like something official? If so, could you point us out to the...
Yeah, please let us know.
Yeah.
If it's something official, yeah, we definitely want to see the article or whatever.
I do remember hearing a rumor about it, but that doesn't mean it was right or wrong, so cool. Yeah. I mean, this is really interesting. I think this is like one of the better ones overall for Scourge of Ghyran. It's definitely not on the low end of rules updates.
It's neat. It's
cool.
Khorne
Yeah.
Inexplicably getting tech again.
Even better. Yeah. I know. Oh man.
Even though they're supposed to be like the fighty mindless rage army.
They're supposed to be like the
here's all these movement shenanigans. Enjoy.
I know. Oh man. Andy was playing the 6-inch what's it called? What do you call it? Murder Lust? On his Bloodthirster, and I hate that so much. I hate it so much.
You just want to run 18 inches and then Murder Lust 6 inches. Yeah, it's...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, so like, you have... Even if you're outside of 9, all he needs is a 1-inch redeploy. Yeah, and he's in. Like, you shouldn't be... anyway, I won't... Like, so to make sure, or not even to make sure, even if you're outside of 12... he can still roll a 5. Like, what the hell? That's crazy.
It wouldn't even need to be a 5. It would need to be a 4-up.
Oh, 4-up. You're right. Yeah.
Because he needs to get within 3 inches.
He does. Yeah. So that puts him at 2 inches away. Like, what the hell? That's wild. Anyway.
Yep. Pretty good.
Pretty good. Let's see.
Cool. Yeah, Khorne's looking good. I think next up is KO.
Yes. I just put them up in order, whatever that happened to be.
I'm just going by order of release.
Cool. Same. Yeah.
Yep.
Sick.
Yep.
So we've got new artifacts of power, no new factions. And that's probably because, like, I don't know. Actually, I won't try to like go inside their head with how they make the decisions they make, but artifacts of power. They got once per battle, your hero phase effect. This unit can use a summon ability from the manifestation lore you picked during army composition as if it had wizard 1 instead of making a casting roll for that summon ability. The casting roll is a 7 and cannot be modified. That summon ability cannot be unbound. Pretty cool, yeah. I guess it's to stop people from getting, like, the more difficult ones. Oh, yeah, because you couldn't get Grave Tide and you couldn't get Purple Sun.
Purple Sun, yeah.
Yeah, they were thinking ahead. Pretty smart.
Or Kronspine.
Oh, what is Kronspine an 8 as well?
Yeah. So, I think those are the 3...
Right.
You can't get.
Okay.
So it's all right. Seems neat.
Well, it can't be unbound. So you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I mean it's a neat like once per game thing. I'm not super familiar with the other KO artifacts and like whether that's
me neither, yeah.
Like some armies just don't have good ones and then you're like, sure, why not? I'll take this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But yeah.
Some of them still don't have a good one even after they got a book. What up, Sean? Michael says it's 99% Stormkeep wishlist, referring to the cavalry thing. That could be. There's a rumor that 5+ wound cav would be unable to be reinforced. Maybe that's what he means. Huh. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I hope not. Like, I don't know. Like, I think those kinds of, like if you made it, it's so arbitrary, and like it just hurts certain armies and doesn't affect other ones. I don't know.
I feel like they would sooner add like a battle profile type or like restriction where they're just like can't be reinforced.
That would be
rather, because there's a lot of 5 wound plus cavalry that like would catch those strays that it just doesn't make sense.
Exactly what I'm saying. Yeah.
Why does Mournfang cavalry get hit by that? Like, it's not a problem right now.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. Yeah. Or like Gore Gruntas, like who cares? Let them do what they need to do.
Gore Gruntas are almost a unit where like you kind of have to reinforce them, or you don't have. That's not true. That's a lie. I
like
lied.
Right now, yeah, I mean, fair enough. Yeah, like right now they're not being used that way, but traditionally you are right. Like back when it was much more encouraged. But like again, it's not like, I mean, you never know, but
the next one is it's just a passive, which is this unit has a 5+ ward. In addition, add 1 to the attacks characteristic of this unit's melee weapons. Cool.
Yeah.
Seems good. It's just for like any hero, essentially.
Right.
So makes sense.
And then once per battle, your movement phase, pick a friendly Caradron Overlord's unit that has fly and is not in combat to be the target. Remove the target from the battlefield, set it up. Again, wholly within 9 inches of this unit and more than 9 inches from all enemy units. This is interesting because, you have to put an artifact of power on a hero. So it's kind of like, you're able to summon things from across the board, pull them out. I don't know.
Yep. Seems cool. The pull.
Right. Yeah.
I feel like out of the 3, I like that one the most, probably. Even though it's a once per battle, it's like being able to just completely reposition is always nice.
Yeah.
So
you could pull something over to where it just could not get otherwise.
Yeah, exactly.
Or you could like take a boat and deposit said hero way over where, and then it could be flying around doing things. And yeah, there's a lot you could do here.
Like a Pokeball boat.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like,
Instead of a rat ogre, it should be a bottle though. Like, why is it called a flare? It should be a ship in a bottle, right?
That's right. He just pulls it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Break it on the side of something like you break a bottle of wine on the side of a ship before you send it off to sea.
Yeah. Exactly.
Just all sorts of.
Then they got Sky Vessel upgrades, which are kind of like the mount traits, except for Sky Vessels, obviously. The first one is the Voidstone Repulsor Vents, which is used as a reaction to when a friendly unit within 12 inches of this unit was picked as the target of an enemy spell ability. You roll a dice, and on a 4-up, you ignore the effect of that spell on that friendly unit, and then inflict D3 mortal damage on the caster. This unit can use this ability more than once per phase, but you can only roll once for each friendly spell unit, or for each friendly unit per spell cast. So like if Croak decides to hit 3 units within range, you'd only get to hit him once, kind of thing.
Right.
And you can only roll the 4-up once. This is kind of neat. Like it's supposed to be like Arkan the Black's 18-inch spell ignore bubble, except it also deals D3 mortal damage on the caster. So it's nice for an army like KO, which has had like no defenses whatsoever against spell damage in the past. So it's neat. I like it.
I mean, like, this is also like just a free upgrade. Like, you're getting a new kind of upgrade, I think. Wait, actually, is that true? Because I know mount upgrades were new. Is this a new kind of upgrade as well?
I believe so.
Okay,
yeah.
That's what I thought. But so like, okay, like a new kind of upgrade. Like, even if it's like, this is really good, but like, let's say that like they were all not great. It's still like, okay, well, it's just a straight upgrade. You're getting a new thing, So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's always nice when you're like, you don't have to make any sacrifices. Just here's something in addition.
And I wish they would do this more, to be honest. I feel like all of the books should have had something like this, Like the Skaven should have some kind of mutation thing again. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, like the mount traits for vampire lords and whatever, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
if I had to guess,
yeah,
I would say probably they were afraid of introducing new edition, new GHB,
yep,
and
yep. I think
like
you're right.
too many rules at the same time too.
Yeah,
because like that's like the main complaint I think is that people say like all the armies feel too vanilla. Like there's not enough like flavor.
Yeah.
But I think if they introduced like a crap load of complexity to every army that they release too,
yeah.
just think of a new player getting into this game, which is probably what they're targeting most, right?
It's true. And but having said that, my favorite edition of 40K was 8th edition. They did like new rules and like the balance was the Wild West. It was crazy. Like you had like 6 Hive Tyrants or 7 Hive Tyrants or whatever it was. But like, man, it sure was fun. Like all these crazy flavorful rules, like 36 stratagems or whatever the hell we had. And I had so much fun. But, like I think you're playing the devil's advocate very well. And it's something it's the kind of thing I would say and do anyway. So yeah, I'm in agreement. I think we should give them the benefit of the doubt, but
yeah, not everyone is hosting a podcast about this game, talking about it literally every week and traveling to Austria for tournaments for it. And yeah,
like that's true. So yeah, it's understandable also if not everyone is as forgiving and, yeah, whatnot. Yeah, it is kind of sad. And earlier I did want to point out that Ladificus said that he was saying he agrees about the cavalry, that there's more than there's around a dozen 5+ health cavalry right now. So it would be better, in my opinion, just to put the can't be reinforced line on the specific ones they think need it, because that way they could always change it again, and then they don't have to change whole base rules. So yeah, I agree with that. And aren't the new wolves, like, isn't the new wolf unit, like, doesn't it have more than 5 wounds? Or am I tripping?
The Git Mob one?
Yeah, the Git Mob, like the big wolves.
I don't think those are the
yeah, like the wolf with riding 2 goblins. I thought they had 5 wounds.
Oh yeah, I don't think so.
I was going to point out like how funny would that be if they're like, nope, you can't reinforce them. It's like, come on, man, they're so bad right now. Like, give us a freaking bone here.
But you might have exclusions like this unit can be reinforced if they did add something like that.
That's true,
too.
but like, what a lot of work. Just do it if you really think it's necessary. But honestly, I don't think they should even do it. But yeah.
Yep. Yep. Then the next Sky Vessel upgrade is the Blazebeard and Sons Ejector Pod. It's an interesting company name. Once per battle, any combat phase, if this unit is in combat, pick a friendly, visible Caradron Overlord's hero wholly within 6 inches of this unit to be the target. Remove the target from the battlefield, then set it up again wholly within 18 inches of this unit and more than 9 inches from all enemy units. So basically, you just like take a hero that's in danger and just go like, whoop, and just like yeet him away, it's pretty cool. I like that.
That is sick. And if you could use it, couldn't you use it in conjunction with the other artifact?
You could, but that would be the following movement phase, because it's once per battle your movement phase.
Oh, right. And this is in the combat phase. Totally. Yeah, I just forgot it for a second. I was just like, man, it's still kind of cool though. Like, you could still do some pretty awesome shenanigans. So.
Well, what's nice is you don't even have to use this defensively to like save this hero's life. Yeah. Like, let's say you wanted to like, your enemy was just like, I would just want to tie up this boat so that it doesn't come like attack my other stuff. Then what you could do is say like, okay, well, I'm just going to take this hero and plop it onto one of your back objectives because you decided to leave it alone and I can teleport him on there. And it's just like a really annoying thing for your opponent to deal with.
Right. Because it's wholly within 18 inches of this unit. Like, that's so far.
Yeah.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yep.
Oh, Snarlpack
Cavalry have 3.
The new ones? The new big wolves with 2 goblins riding it has 3 health? That's crazy. I'm so sorry for you guys. Doesn't sound like I am, but I am. Anyway, any charge phase. The next one is Zomber Corp. Deal Breaker Battle Ram. God dang it. What a great name. Any charge phase. If this unit charged this phase, pick an enemy unit in combat with it to be the target. Roll number of dice equal to the unmodified charge roll. 4 up, inflict 1 mortal damage. So it's kind of like ogre stuff. They're stealing your tech again. How do you feel, Carson?
I know. Not good. I'm like, a boat? Really? Like,
yeah. Well, it's a battering ram. It's got a, no? Okay. Yeah. I think.
Give me my tech back.
Give it back, damn it. Yeah. I want mortal wounds in the charge phase again. Yeah, I think, to be honest, I think I would probably pick the ejector pod most of the time. But
I think it's highly dependent on the meta.
I'm sure. Yeah. For sure. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. If you think that you're going to be going into like Seraphon, Zinch, that kind of stuff, the Voidstone Repulsor events,
right,
it's an incredible piece of tech.
Right. That's true. Yeah.
But if everyone in your local meta is like, I play Gargants, you're like, cool. I'm going to use the ejector pod because it's going to mess with your ability to hold objectives properly, right?
Right. I think the ejector pod, though, is like a better take all comers,
Yeah.
Because like this, it only works on spells, and it isn't once per battle, which is nice. I don't know. Yeah. I also just kind of think it's cool, I guess. Although, you know what? Yeah. The battle room, there's something to be said for just being able to do like a crap ton of mortal wounds, in the charge phase. You wouldn't understand, Carson, but, I stand behind that.
I've never experienced that before. Yeah.
On the channel, specifically. Yeah. And then we've got a new gun hauler.
This gun hauler is crazy. It's really good. So for reference, it's 140 points.
Which is
and then
it's 10 wounds on a 3-up for 140 points is crazy already.
Yeah. I mean, like there's some Stormcast units like Liberators and stuff that are like 10 wounds on a 3-up for 120 points or something like that.
Yeah. Okay.
But the difference is this thing moves 14 inches.
14 inches. It has a crazy, awesome shooting attack.
Yeah. The other interesting thing is that this can actually be reinforced, even though it's a unit size 1 as well. So you can take them in packs of 2, which is kind of neat. The things that change, actually, I think both the gun and the boarding weapons changed. So the Sky Ordnance is now like 3 attacks, Ren 2, 3 damage, which is very good.
Very good.
At 15-inch range. And then the melee weapons they're 4s and 4s, but it's Ren 1, D3 damage. Then it has 3 different abilities, essentially. It can't transport any friendly units, so it's just a boat. It has the Attack Squadron passive, which is while it's wholly within 12 inches of another friendly Grunstock gun hauler, it can use shoot abilities even if it used run ability in the same turn. So you basically have run and shoot army wide if you're going to be spamming these things.
Right.
Then it has the Fighter Vessels, which is if this unit used the shoot ability this phase, it can move D6 inches and it cannot end that move in combat. So
crazy.
It's real good.
Yeah.
Spamming these things is like not a bad idea, to be honest. Like you bring 10 of them, that's 100 wounds on a 3-up. Then all shoot and
move 14
and fight and move 14 and are just like whipping around the table doing whatever. So and the shooting is good. Like that would be 30 shots on 4s, 3s, Ren 2, 3 damage. So that would shred like Chosen or
man. And they're shooting at 15 and then they could theoretically move up to D6 inches away, making it harder to even get to them.
Exactly. Ugh. I'm curious actually now. So if you have 30 shots.
Ugh. By the way, Michael, did you see Michael's comment earlier? War Machine. Okay.
Go ahead.
Oh,
the War Machine thing.
Michael says, for the Voidstone Repulsor, there's no limit on the reaction, by the way. So if Croak casts, he can take 3d3. So I'm just going to go back up to it.
There is no limit on the reaction, but it is. Well, it says that you can only roll once for each friendly. Oh wait, this unit can use this ability more than once per phase, but you can only roll once for each friendly unit per spell cast. Interesting.
So So if I see, so if Croak casts his Celestial Deliverance on one, or he gets it off on 3 units, so then he could take up to D3 because it's once per unit, right?
I think so. I don't know what the rules are for reacting multiple times to the same thing, though.
Right.
But
oh, right.
So. That's definitely like a rules question to ask.
Yeah, that's an FAQ for sure. Don't you just love like reading and like practicing your reading comprehension live?
Yeah, it's great. Love it.
Sorry, so you were into your calculations.
Oh yes. So if a 3-up save unit, all out defenses, so on a 2-up save, 10 gun haulers will deal 15 damage to it still. With just shooting. So yeah, it's pretty good.
Pretty good. And there's like board presence, and they're all like, you're like, why would you even bother to reinforce them except to like get them in a certain level of battalion and like for all out attack and stuff like that. But
I actually don't think the correct answer is to spam these, like thinking about it more.
Right.
But because you tie them up and it's like,
but they're just such an efficient war scroll though.
Exactly. So I think that taking like 2 to 4
could
be extremely annoying.
I think I'd take 4.
Yeah.
I think
because like you want to have like a main threat presence that's like more threatening than these gun haulers, but these gun haulers are still going to be extremely annoying to deal with. Like running and shooting and moving D6. So it's basically you get like a 14 plus 2d6 move and you can still shoot and like run around the table.
Right.
So pretty good.
It's
like
super good.
Yeah. I'd imagine really good for tactics and stuff too. If there's like position based ones in the next GHB. Then the code write. I don't know how much time I really want to spend reading this because I remember it being bad, but I don't remember why.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I don't know either. Okay. Yeah, I mean we still have
it's special. What's up?
Well, I should say I was about to say we do have 5 more factions to cover.
Yeah, exactly.
We've got like an hour and 20 minutes, but
yeah. So basically, this guy gets D3 Vex points every hero phase, and then any hero phase he can spend either 3 or 6 of the Vex points, and then pick a visible enemy unit within 18 inches, and pick one of the following effects to apply for the rest of the turn. So you can either give something like minus D3 or half the move characteristic, which is actually all right. And then the let's see, the weapons are against.
It seemed good to me because like just anytime you're like half move, you're like, okay, your eels are moving 7 now.
Yeah, actually, it is good. Why did I think that this was bad?
I don't know, and I also thought like you could put, I don't know what to tell you, but you could like,
-1 to wound is good too.
Yeah.
Why did I think this was bad? This is a good debuff piece.
I don't know. Yeah, and it's once per turn. It's not once per battle, or yeah. He seems dope.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
Interesting.
Well, yeah.
All right. Yeah. Neat.
And I thought he would probably go well with the artifacts, with like pulling stuff toward him and a few things like that maybe. But cool. And then Iron Jaws. I was quite excited for this. They picked the unit that I wanted them to change. But anyway, first things first, we got Brute Fist. Once per battle, any hero phase. So this is once per battle. Your entire battle formation is once per battle, by the way, right? So if there are any friendly mega bosses on the battlefield. So now we've got another qualifier. For the rest of the turn, you could pick another eligible unit to be a second target when using Mighty Destroyers, right? So once per battle for an extra 3-inch move in the hero phase. Like, I feel like we don't need to say any more. Like, there's more stuff down below, but like, we can move on, right?
Yeah, don't bring this.
Yeah. And then Big Snickas, pick a friendly Iron Jaws unit, be the target. For the rest of the turn, add 1.
Hold on.
Yep.
Once per battle round. Someone just put it in the chat.
Oh my god, I'm sorry, guys.
Not once per battle.
I don't remember this being this bad. I remembered it being like, I remember thinking like, I'm not going to take this probably. But because iron, per battle round, right? Yeah, I
remember this being better than that.
I've talked about it with Alex. That's what's crazy. That's embarrassing. But again, reading comprehension while people are staring at me.
No, that's not bad at all.
Yeah, it's not bad. I don't know that I would take it. Like, there's a few good ones, that I kind of like, but, I mean, like,
I think it's pretty good actually. Like, it's,
fair. Like it probably would have saved Kragnos from even getting, like, attacked at all, had I had that particular one. But like, anyway, yeah. Yeah, I can see it, but you also have to have a mega boss on the battlefield, which means you need to have a mega boss, and they're not exactly
because if there isn't one, it's
because
just on a 3-up.
That's right.
Instead.
That's right. Oh man, but on a 3-up, I
think that's fine. Like,
I don't know. I do like the mega boss on Muck Russian now with some of these like the monstrous traits, and there's a few different things that I kind of like them a little bit more now. So yeah, fair enough. I think that this is the one that I was thinking of. I was liking more than this other one, but now I'm not sure about anything. This other one is Big Snicka's once per turn army, any combat phase. Pick a friendly Ironjawz unit to be the target. For the rest of the turn, add 1 to wound rolls for the target's combat attacks that target an enemy that has a health characteristic greater than its own. This isn't bad, but a lot of cool things in Ironjawz wound on 2s. You know what I mean?
Do they?
Well,
like what?
Well, I mean, like not specifically, obviously, like the infantry, but like most of the monsters have stuff that wound on 2s. There's a lot of 4s and 2s in the army. So
yeah, but it wouldn't apply to the monster's weapon anyway because it'd be a companion.
Oh yeah, so. Okay, another strike against it. That's true. Yeah, good point.
It's
yeah.
I think this is
another
one of those things that's like it really depends on what's in the meta,
right?
Like, because if you go up against something like Tzeentch, this is largely not going to matter whatsoever because you're probably just trying to chop through a whole bunch of horrors for the entire game,
right?
And then you probably won't make it out to hit the birds in the first place,
right?
If you're going against like anyone with like chaff, and then usually the hammers that you have in Ironjawz 2, like your brutes are 3 wounds, right? And it specifically says that it has to be greater health characteristic. So going into something that's like 4 or more wounds,
right? So you're already using this on your infantry anyway, mostly.
Yeah,
right.
But I'm saying like that severely limits the pool of stuff that you can target. Because like some cavalry is 3 wounds, right? So like your brutes wouldn't even really be able to benefit from this.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's very subjective. Like,
yeah, I
actually
like
prefer
it,
the Mightiest Destroyers better than
this
one.
Yeah. No, yeah. Originally that was my opinion as well. And then I read it this time and I missed the whole once per battle round thing. And again, I don't know how I did that, but I actually like Mightiest Destroyers, but like I'm not sure that I like it more than the current ones anyway. Like taking Kragnos and just getting like to add 1 to your attacks characteristic because you're probably rolling an 8+ on the charge with him. You know what I mean? Like that's just crazy. And then if you're buffing them up with like War Chanters and stuff like that, and they're getting +1 damage and +1 attack. And there's other ways of giving them other, +1 attack anyway, like when you're calling a WA and doing different things like that. I just realized I didn't call a single WA during my game with Andy. Damn it. God dang it. Oh man. That's why we play those practice games though. I didn't remember the Mightiest Destroyers every turn. I forgot the very first turn, but anyway. I mean, yeah, I agree though. Definitely out of the 2 of these, Mightiest Destroyers is the pick. But then there's also Weird Fist, like a 6-up ward on an army that's got a good save is quite good, and you probably want to take War Chanters and Shaman anyway. Yeah, I
think it's another one of those things that largely depends on the meta,
for sure, and your composition, what you want to play. Like there's a bunch of shit in here. Yeah,
which I actually like. It's like there's no one clear
That's
best
true.
choice.
And I like that it's not like, you know, if you're bringing rat ogres, then you can do this one thing. But if you didn't bring them, or if you only have one unit, then you're not going to get much use out of this. It seems like they're moving away from that, and God, I hope so. But yeah, anyway, I guess we should probably.
Yeah.
And now we've got monstrous traits. Hells yeah. This is so sick, right? Like, I fully feel that a Maw Crusher should always have been Ren 2, and that's why I'm picking this. You know what I mean? Like, I'm picking Biggin every time and putting it on my Maw Crusher, so he's just like a bunch of Ren 2 damage 3 attacks. But the Madden one is definitely the worst, I think, of these three, but it might be the most fun, right? Because it's just
doing a 2d3 perhaps.
Well, no, because actually, maybe I read it wrong, or actually, I read it that way originally, but Alex was reading it that it keeps going.
Interesting.
And he convinced me of that. But here, I'll read it out, and I would love to get the chat's opinion on this. If this unit charged this turn, pick an enemy unit in combat with it to be the target. Roll a d3. On a 2-up, inflict the amount of mortal damage on the target equal to the roll. If any models are slain by this ability, after those models are removed from the battlefield, if this unit is still in combat, this unit can immediately use this ability again. And I think it's because of that very last little bit. It uses this ability again. I think it keeps going. The issue, of course, is you need to kill something. So it's only going to be useful into like small wound cavalry. And then you still have to roll the 3-up. But there's a little bit of that, like,
fun.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun as hell, right? And if you could get 2 of these, like in a perfect world, I could like not take an artifact and take 2 monstrous traits or whatever, and like I would just be having the time of my life. But
apparently Madigan ruled it that it keeps going to. Madigan's like a very prolific rules judge, essentially. Like she was one of the judges at Worlds
for sure. Okay.
And she ruled it that like
this
it's way? Actually kind of funny when you're in like a call with like Worlds level players and there's like an argument about rules, and then one of them's like, well, Madigan said this. We're like, well, why didn't you start with that?
Yeah.
We couldn't have had,
yeah, that's fair.
We wouldn't have had this argument then.
Fair.
So I believe it.
Sorry, you said that Madigan did in fact say that that's how it works.
Yeah.
Fair. And I still, like, even having said all that, I still think it's the worst one of these 3 for sure, but it might be the most fun. I don't know.
I don't know if it is. Like, it's... I mean, I know I have a destruction brain where I'm like...
Yeah, exactly.
Infinite. Like, just pick up a unit.
You've got like what was originally it was a Skaven brain, right? But if all these things come to fruition, you know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, fair enough, right? That's how my brain works for sure. I'll definitely take this at some point just to have a good time, but also like counterpoint 8 attacks, 4s and 2s, rend 2, damage 3 on my Maw Crusher. Like, that's also fun, right? So
yeah, really good.
And then the old Fasten is something that's been around since AOS 3, and I think it's quite strong. It's hero phase movement.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
Again, like I keep saying, this highly depends on what's in your local meta and like what you're bringing this to. Because like if everyone's playing Gargants, the Madden, like you just get an extra 2-up D3 and it doesn't matter whatsoever. Right. Like you'd rather have render an extra normal move in that case.
100%.
So
yeah,
definitely.
Or if you're playing like against someone who runs the Tom Guan clan rat list, or also known as the Frank clan rat list,
that's right.
Maybe you're more inclined to roll the slots. So
could be fun.
Yeah,
could be fun.
And then we've got new Gore Gruntas and new Rekkas. So this is like the one thing I asked for and the one thing I didn't ask for. Gore Gruntas. Wait, were Gore Gruntas also an 8-inch move before? And by the way, Mike, if you're watching, I just saw your message now, but I don't have time to respond because I'm currently doing a podcast.
No, they were 9.
Were they 9? Okay. Sick. Okay,
and then they They lost an attack on both the Choppa and the Grunta-Tusk.
They did. It's very sad. And so, yeah, like, anyway, but then they gave them the thing that they always should have had, which is +1 damage on the charge. I feel like they could still at this, because now they're going up to 200 points from, or is it 210 from 180?
200.
200, right. So they're adding like an additional, 10%-ish in points. And you're losing an attack on both, but now the Gore Grunta's tusks have 1 pip of rend, and I think they were, no, maybe they're not D3. I think I'm thinking of the Maw Grunta, but yeah, they're +1 damage. Oh no, I think that was always true. I think they were always +1 damage on the charge, right? And then
so the guys on top got +1 damage on the charge, and then the tusks got a rend, basically,
which is better. For sure, but you're also losing the mortal wounds when you charge, but instead you're getting passive barge through. When this unit moves, it can pass through models and enemy infantry units and can pass through the combat ranges of enemy infantry units only, but it cannot end the move in combat unless specified in the ability used. So yeah, I think this kind of depends on your meta, but in general, I think this is just a better scroll. More useful on the whole, even if they're losing an attack,
Yeah, I kind of like that there's like infantry bullying going on in Iron Jaws, where like the brutes are saying like you can't contest objectives.
Yeah, that's true.
The Gore Grunt is just like ignoring them essentially. Like it's thematic and it's an interesting rules thing. So
that's true.
I like it.
Yeah, I that's a good point. I'm not sure that I'm, taking them. It'll depend on so many different things, but I'll probably taking a few, But I don't think that I think these things are just straight up worse if you're taking the Army of Renown, because the extra thing that they get once per game with the 2-up D6 mortal wounds instead of 3-up D3 mortal wounds, it just doesn't apply to them because they don't have that ability. So yeah. Whatever. And then Weird Brute Rekkas. So does this fix the problem that they created in this edition, Carson, with the all-out attack? So in case anyone is just didn't catch the last couple of weeks or whatever, now when you all-out attack, you are -1 to your save. And so, Iron Jaws were probably arguably the most hit by this rule because their save was their claim to fame, but they're hitting on 4s across the board. So now it's like an extra punish on them. And so now they're sort of fixing that in some armies, like Skaven, with like the Brood Terror's ability. But now they've given this ability to Weird Brute Rekkas, and their ability is if this unit is in combat, so it has to charge in to do this. And by the way, they're on a 4-inch move. Okay. So up to 7 inches if they are if you give them the Mighty Destroyer's move or whatever, but then they have to be in combat. The Brood Terror, by the way, does not have to be in combat. They do. So if they're in combat, pick a friendly Iron Jaws unit wholly within 12 inches, add 1 to the hit rolls for combat attacks. So it only works on 1 and it's once per turn. So you can only give a free all-out attack to 1 unit wholly within 12 if they're in combat. And so what do you think about this?
It's neat. I mean, it's 110 points now instead of 100 points, and they're just like a buff piece. The only thing is that they're pretty squishy and they're not fast.
Yeah, exactly. And I think they had run and charge before on the old
No, that was the Ragers.
Oh, Ragers? And these guys were
Oh no, they did have run and charge before.
I thought so. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
And then so, and these guys, they still have a 5-up ward, but 9 wounds on a 5-up save with a 5-up ward is still pretty squishy.
Yeah, maybe you take 1 if you have points for it.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. At most 1.
Yeah, but I wouldn't bring these
no.
I wouldn't bring a lot of them.
I'm just kind of sad that that's the only thing that they got for taking out their like abysmal to hit profiles across the entire army. I don't think there's anything in the army. I don't like remember seeing anything in the army that hits on anything better than a 4-up. Like that's crazy. Like there's like a decent amount of stuff that hits on a 5, or not anymore as much, but like there's still things that hit on 5s. But yeah, I don't know. What does everyone else think at home?
Matthew S says these are vigilers at home. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man. They're okay. Anyway, so overall, like I think it's kind of a side grade other than the monstrous traits.
Yep.
You know,
monstrous traits are good.
Yeah.
The other stuff is neat. I like the mightiest destroyers.
I think it's cool. I'm gonna try that out probably at some point. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Cool. Then Fire Slayers, I think, is the next one.
It is. Mark of Volcatrix. Got to be careful how you say that. So this is a faction rule. So this is just for... This is for like one thing. Like they only get one, right? Oh, okay. I was like, am I reading this wrong?
It's a monstrous trait that it applies only to Magmadroths.
Oh, interesting. So this encourages you to do like the to be honest, I didn't even like look at the Fire Slayers rules. I even looked at the KO rules, but I did not look at this. Yeah.
Basically, so what they got is they got a once per battle, double the attacks characteristic of the Roaring Fire Stream, and the Roaring Fire Stream has a damage characteristic of 3 instead of D3. So that's really good because if you look at the Auric Rune Sun down below, which is a spoiler, I guess, it's 4 attacks, 3s, Ren 1, D3 damage. So that would become 8 attacks, 3s, Ren 1, 3 damage.
Right.
At range, which is pretty spicy. An anti-infantry +1 Ren, so it would shred something pretty good before it gets into combat. Thickened Scales is you basically have -1 rend against you, and it's for all weapons, not just melee. And then the Peerless Lineage is you declared a rampage ability for this unit, and then you can pick another eligible unit to be a second target of that rampage ability. And if it requires a roll, you must roll for each target. So that's pretty good too, just because like I'm just skipping down to the Rune Sun War Scroll again. They have a roll a dice on a 3-up, roll for each model in the target unit for each 5+ inflict 1 mortal damage. So basically like a 3-up, 5-up board clear, which is kind of weird that it has both of those. But then you could pick like 2 units that you're in combat with to do that instead. And I think that there's other Magmadroths that have ones like that as well. Like if we look at the Fire Slayers War Scrolls, the Rune Father on Magmadroth, has a rampage ability that can, on a 3-up, subtract 1 from save rolls for a target. So that's
good grief.
For 2 things, he can subtract 1 from save rolls, which is really good. The current Rune Smiter, he can deal D3 +3 mortal damage onto something. So he picked 2 targets for that. And then the existing Rune Sun, what is it? It's just a control score debuff, which doesn't really matter. But yeah, that's pretty interesting. So all 3 of those are just really good. I don't know what I'd pick, actually. I probably wouldn't pick the Incandescent Blaze.
I try not to pick ones that are once per game.
Yeah, because it feels possible. Like you'll dump a bunch of shooting into something, but it's like, okay, it only applies for a little bit. Then Thickened Scales is just really good. Like -1 Ren, always extremely valuable.
Super good.
And
that's probably what I would pick, I think.
Yeah, Peerless Lineage is also really good. I don't know, like debuffing 2 units at -1 to save is really nice with the Rune Father. So it depends on if you're running a Rune Father, I guess, but yeah, -1 Rend is really good.
Qual asked, where would one find the Tom Guan list? I mean on BCP, but like it's basically like 180 clan rats, Vizic, and I think a Grey Seer. Is that right? Does that sound right to you? Yeah, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
But yeah. those monster traits are really good. Then they also got a new prayer lore, which go off in a 3, 4, and 5 respectively. The first one is the priest picks a friendly monster wholly within 12 of it, and then until the start of the next turn, if any damage points were inflicted on an enemy unit by the target's volcanic blood ability after the damage sequence has been resolved, inflict 3 mortal damage on that enemy unit. If the chanting roll was 6+, inflict D3 plus 3 mortal damage instead. So basically, like, all the magma drops have like the I bleed on you when I deal damage thing. Mm-hmm. This is basically saying you're going to take 3 more mortal damage if I bleed on you, essentially, or D3 plus 3 if it went off on a 6+, which is pretty good. Yeah, especially like as a countercast on a 3 is really, really easy to get off in your opponent's turn.
Right.
So it's like if you know that, okay, I got to go kill that thing, then what's it called? Like especially if your opponent has like multiple units that needs to go into that, like.
Right.
It's going to bleed on multiple things and then deal 3 mortal wounds to multiple things. Like that's really interesting. Then the next one is the same thing. You pick a visible friendly fire slayers unit wholly within 12. Add 1 to hit rules for the target's combat attacks, including those made with companion weapons until the start of your next turn. So super solid. Like
man, I wish we had something like that in friggin' Ironjaws, you know?
Yeah. Because everything the Magma Drop has is on 4s and 2s, so
yeah,
3s and 2s instead is really good.
So jealous.
And then, in addition, if the chanting roll is 8+, you add 2 to the attacks characteristic of that target's companion weapons until the start of your next turn 2, which is really good. Because the Magma Drop's Blazing Maw weapon is only 2 attacks, so you're doubling it.
Yeah,
and it's Ren 2 damage 3. So
well, and it's both of them though, right? So you go add 33% to the claws, and you add 50% to the, or sorry, you add 100% to the, to the Blazing Maw, like.
And it's on 3s and 2s instead, like
3s and
becomes
2s.
a powerhouse in melee.
Get out of here. That's crazy.
So that's really good. And then the last one is Blazing Impetus.
Oh man.
Pick a friendly visible fire slayers unit wholly within 12, yada yada. And you can use a normal move ability as if it were your movement phase.
Get
and
out
if the chanting roll was 10+, you can pick another eligible unit to be the second target.
I'm so glad I didn't read this before. God dang it. After reading Ironjaws the next day, I'd be like, oh man, get out of here.
Yeah.
This is brutal.
I think it's really cool.
And I think it's actually sick, to be honest. I'm kind of excited for Alex, just to be like, because he's rocked 6 or 7 Magma Drops, whatever the max was from the beginning. Yeah. And he's like done like a bunch of poses.
He's not going to bring them. Because as soon as they approach anything,
like good, really good. But you know what though? He's been breaking his rule. He's only been playing Idoneth, and he was never like an Idoneth guy. And they're like, I think they're the best that they've ever been in this edition. So maybe he's maturing a bit. Maybe. Like it's been a while since I've mentioned fighting games, Carson, and it actually has been a little bit, but that's probably because like you weren't here for a couple weeks or something like that. Right. But, they have an old expression. There's an ancient wisdom in the fighting game community, and it is this: pick a top tier. Pick a top tier. No one ever told you to pick a bad army, Pick a top tier. Yeah.
Just do it.
Yeah.
It's easy.
And if you do it, by the way, you need to play like like Eric. You know what I mean? Like if you're like Croak, if you tell Eric Croak is busted, he's like, yeah, he's awesome. He's just like, oh shit. It's the best way to play, man. To be fair, I think Eric was scarred by the Slanesh of 2000 and what was it, 18 or roughly?
That's before my time.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
Well, yeah, you weren't even born yet.
Yes. No, I was -3 years old.
2018. You were born. You were born after the pandemic.
Yep, that's right. Don't even remember it. I think that the Auric Runesun profiles did not change. Like his fire stream and melee weapons, I believe, all stayed the same. I'm going down to his war scroll, just trying to speed up the. Yeah, I don't think that changed. He did basically it's his abilities on his war scroll that changed. So he had a rampage that didn't matter before. Volcanic blood is the same. Vying for glory, which is gone, I think. Yeah, that didn't matter. It had like a whole bunch of conditional like anti-monster stuff. Like if it killed the monster, it gets better, that kind of thing. And then they realized that that's bad. So they changed it so that he has this once per battle deployment phase ability, which is you pick a friendly Auric Runefather on Magma Drop on the battlefield to be the target. You add 1 to the damage characteristic of this unit's melee weapons, including companion weapons, while the target is in combat, damaged, or destroyed. So the key thing to note here is that it doesn't say like once per battle army wide. So every one of these Rune Sun War Scrolls that you bring can do this.
Okay.
And then basically that Runefather, you're just like, go, be in combat, die. And then he gets +1 damage on all of his weapons, essentially. Which is really good. So
especially when
blazing
it's
mob,
including freaking companion weapons.
Yeah, so that blazing mob becomes damage 4. Claws and horns become damage 2 or damage 3. Sorry, and the ancestral like these things like slap.
And
then
what if
with
you've
the whole,
already
like,
added
+2
+2 attacks? Yeah, like,
yeah.
What the?
Yeah,
This is crazy. This
start absolutely shredding things.
I think Fire Slayer's got the biggest glow up out of literally any army. Actually, I guess it depends on whether you like Magmadroths or not. But like,
yeah.
this is like Alex specific. Like, what did he pay these guys to make these rules? It's
exactly.
Crazy.
And then it got a roll of dice on a 3-up. You get to do a 5-up port clear. So, which is neat.
Yeah, I dare say.
Like on top of everything else. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, on top of everything else. Whew. And it's not even specific to like infantry like a lot of them are. It's just you get this. So like you could just do it on one unit. You know?
Yep, just a 5-up 1 mortal wound.
It's so good.
You weren't born, but your mustache was. It's like a symbiote. Venom style. That's right.
Absolutely. Saul says picking armies based on tier they are is horrible. Rule of cool always. Yeah, don't take me too seriously, Saul. Says the guy who didn't even pick. I don't even pick like the best units in the armies that I already like. Like I didn't play any plague monks when they were like the best thing in the game in AOS 2. Yeah, I do as I say, not as I do. How about that? Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, but Alex is like one of the few people that has like a ton of armies and paints like incredibly quickly. So he has access to the good stuff.
He could literally just do that. Yeah, that's so true. Yeah. That's so true. Like he already has like 6 or 7 Magmadroths fully painted and individually posed. Like that's something he's really good at is reposing plastic. He's bad about burning himself and cutting himself when he does upgrades and whatnot. He actually like upgraded, you know, the Borg cube from Star Trek. He like added LED lights to the inside of it, and his fingers were like something out of like a horror show, like cartoon. It was ridiculous, but yeah. Anyway, I guess we should probably move on to the next one. By the way, yeah, Fire Slayer is the biggest, best upgrade I've seen so far. Like I can't think of like I'm huge on the Skaven update because they gave it to like specific things that I wanted to see change. But I haven't seen anything like this before. Like, oh,
cities.
Oh, cities. Oh, cities. Yeah. Sorry. I'm trying to think. Right.
Cities got like that crazy, like 4-up count as if you charged, synergize, strike first, teleport. All the crazy Pontifex and Nestra hurts your priests and wizard every turn. Like they
didn't
need that.
Yeah, no, that's true. Like, but like the humans, I mean, like put need aside, right? Like, yeah, fair enough. I guess cities and fire slayers. Cities, like I'm maybe I'm not remembering them. Oh, we could even so like week the first, cities for sure. Week the second, I think it's got to be fire slayers, unless I know it's not Idneth.
There's still 3 more.
I know, but I know it's not Idneth, and that's one of them. So speaking of not Idneth, Titsnitch. I didn't read this one either. Yeah, Tzeznatek. Yeah, as is tradition. Battle for Zench. That was gives me the heebie-jeebies, man. So they got Master of Fate. Friendly Arcanite units, melee weapons have crit 2 hits while they are wholly within 12 inches of a friendly Disciples of Tzenznetek demon unit. So it's like, trying to get you to bring a mixed bag.
Yep.
I don't know, like you're not really
You're
bringing Titsnitch for melee stuff, though.
No, they're just trying to get you to change it up.
Right? Yeah, fair enough. Trying being the key. And then Spellweaver Coven. Pick a friendly Disciples of Tzenznetek wizard that is in combat to be the target. The target can use a non-summon spell ability as if it were your hero phase, but only the caster or enemy units in combat with the caster can be picked to be the targets of the spell ability. This is kind of interesting because you could put it on like a big bird or something, something a little hardier, like an Ogroid, or you know what I mean? Like something like that. And it's going to happen at the start of the combat phase. So, if they're going to die anyway, maybe you could do something cool like a Horde Clearer spell, or I don't remember what.
We just teleport away.
There's that. Huh.
Yeah. Kairos just leaves. How about that?
I didn't remember that they had that. Because they've got 2 lores too, but that's a great point. Yeah, Kairos is just like, bye, and then F's off into the stars. Yeah, okay.
Yep. Or another chance to spawn pin. I guess that doesn't matter. Actually, no, it does matter. Spawn pin something.
Oh!
It's tricky. This is a really tricky, interesting one.
Right.
Because it's like it's only your combat phase, actually. So that's not as good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so teleporting wouldn't be as big of a deal.
No.
Yeah.
But you could...
Because it's only your combat phase, it's like...
It's true. There is like tech where you could be like, okay, I'm, Because like the other thing too is like if it is Kairos, he could charge in to teleport away and reposition himself. And because it's Kairos, it's likely going to go off. And do you even get the ability to unbind in the combat phase of...
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just a reaction to
it's a reaction,
spell ability.
A spell ability? Okay, cool. I thought it might be tied to the hero phase, but I couldn't remember. Tziznitz. I like that too. Anyway, and then artifacts of power. Pick one of this unit's melee weapons. That weapon attacks characteristic is 2d6 for the rest of the battle. That's kind of cool. It's very like chaotic and...
It's actually very good.
Is it?
If you take the Baleful Sword on a Lord of Change, that thing's like flat 3 damage, right?
Shoot. What's its profile right now? Is it like 2 or 3 attacks or something?
It's 4 attacks, 4s and 3s, Ren 2, 3 damage. So then it becomes 2d6 attacks, 4s, 3s, Ren 2, 3 damage.
But you could also have like just 2 attacks, so you could be halving it depending on your roll. No, I know. And you're averaging 7, so you're averaging almost double. So, but it also plays into their lore where it's very chaotic and, Titsnitch might not be with you or whatever. So I kind of like it for that. Yeah, that's cool. It's cool. I guess I don't know. It sounds like that one's your vote, maybe? I don't know.
That one's pretty good. Like you're fighting with the zoom in and out.
Both of ours.
You're kind of fighting with I think it's the Nine-Eyed Tome is the artifact that you're taking right now, which is like +1 to cast and unbind or something like that. Cool. Which is it's really good.
Yep.
But this is definitely tempting. It's really, really interesting. The other ones, Arcane Siphon, are Combat Bird. The other one, Arcane Siphon is you pick a visible manifestation, friendly or enemy, that was not set up this turn and is within 12 inches of this unit to be the target. You roll a 3-up, the target is banished, and heal X this unit where X is the target's health characteristic. That's pretty solid. You just you could heal 8 if you pick a Grave Tide or something like that. And actually, it's not even unlikely to heal 6 to 10, depending on what it is, right? And it's a free unbind or free banish, which is pretty good.
Right.
Then the Spellcatcher Amulet, your hero phase. This unit can use this ability if any enemy manifestations were banished this phase. This unit can use a summon ability from the manifestation lore you pick during army composition. The summon ability does not count towards the total number of spell or banish abilities this unit can use this phase. So basically, you just get a free banish, essentially.
Okay.
Which is neat, I guess. I think the other two are definitely better.
Right.
Probably.
Yeah,
I would probably take the Mutating Blade out of these three.
It's fun.
Because I feel like a combat bird sounds like fun.
Yeah. We have to ask Beasley what the correct choice actually was the whole time.
I saw him get his interest piqued by the
really cool. I'm glad to hear it. Yeah. And then we've got the Ogroid Thaumaturge. 6-inch move, 8 health. I don't know what he has right now. I thought he had a 4-up save, but I could be thinking of something else.
Yep.
And then
actually hits fairly hard if he charges.
Right. And yeah, he's got a shooting attack now, low rend, but whatever. 6 attacks, 4s and 2s, rend 1, 2 damage, +1 damage on the charge, so yikes. And then while this unit is within friendly non-hero Arcanite units combat range, this unit has a ward 4-up. It's basically the old, what was the name of the Skaven ability where it was the same thing? Verminous Valor. That's what it was.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's been around since AOS 2, and they started giving it to everyone. Wrath of the Thaumaturge. Once per turn, army any charge phase. If this unit is not in combat, pick a friendly Arcanite unit in combat to be the target. Remove this unit from the battlefield and set it up again within 1 inches of the target. And in combat, this unit has charged. That seems really good.
Yeah, it's really interesting because he can be literally anywhere.
Yeah.
He can be on the complete other side of the table.
Yeah.
And then you just zoop into combat with these guys. So,
wow,
it's pretty solid.
Pretty you could keep him back at a safe spot, casting spells and doing whatever, and then all of a sudden it's hey, I'm here and I'm 3 damage. What up?
Yeah,
it's like a jump scare for your Ogroid jump scare. Yeah, like a bad horror movie.
Yeah, and he's pretty tanky when he gets into combat too, with that unit, because he'll get a ward 4 up.
Yeah, that's a great point. Shoot.
Yeah.
And there's, speaking of acolytes and Arcanite units, new acolyte unit, 5-inch move, 1 health, 5-up save, and then curse blades and glaives, 2 attacks, 4s and 3s, no rend, 1 damage. But wait. Add 1 to the damage characteristic of this unit's melee weapons while this unit is wholly within 12 inches of any manifestations, friendly or enemy. That's kind of cool because, obviously Titsnitch just wanted to throw that out anyway. And if your enemy, if the enemy has them as well, then, suddenly you're 2 damage. And then once per turn, your shooting phase, pick a visible enemy unit within 12 inches of them to be the target for the rest of the turn. Add 1 to rend characteristic of melee weapons used by friendly Kenrick acolyte units for attacks that target that enemy unit. So, you basically move up, and because you have to be in that range anyway to shoot them, right? Or to charge, I should say, is what I meant to say. So then you get into the range to add 1 to your rend, and then suddenly your 2 attacks, 4s and 3s, rend 1, 2 damage on a cheap, what is I think a cheap unit. I don't remember what their points are. I'm sure Beefy will tell me in a second, but
yeah, especially if you've got the Sigil of Zinchout or something like that, which can be adding +1 attack or +1 to wound or to hit or something like that. That can start to synergize pretty well. And then for reference, the Ogroid Thaumaturge is 130 points, and then the Kenrick acolytes are 100 points for 10. So
jeez, that's crazy.
Fairly cheap.
Yeah, I think that's quite cheap, actually.
So that becomes like spammable territory-ish. The only thing is like there's no recursion on them, right?
No, for sure, but
that's pretty hard.
I mean, is this the new Tom Guan?
Like, I don't think so.
Probably not.
I don't think so, because the reason why the Tom Guan thing works is because like it is so many bodies, and
yes, that's true. That's true, but you could be like, for what? You're on 100 bodies for 1,000 points.
Yeah,
that's a lot of bodies.
It is, yeah, but it's also 1 wound each on a 5-up. Like,
yeah.
There's a lot of armies that, like Daughters of Cain or something, would just laugh and pick that up, essentially.
You could run 170 Kenrick Acolytes, which are on the same save base as Clan Rats, and 2 Ogroid Thaumaturge. And that's pretty scary. I don't know.
It could be. I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, Skaven has recursion as well. Like, Clan Rats are coming back D3 per whatever, and you can bring back half of units. And
you can get crit mortals with a prayer, and you can be -1 to wound, and you can be, like, there's a lot of...
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that makes that Skaven list work outside of this as well.
True. But, and if shooting comes back, though, too, like, that's going to change a lot of things, including the Skaven list. So, like, yeah, this might not work under many different conditions, but yeah. Just wait until I hear about Noblars. There's been no ogre update, sir. I won't fall for your trick this time. Yeah, I mean, overall, pretty cool, right?
Yeah, they seem neat.
Cool.
The artifacts seem... I think Tzeentch's like... They got some cool stuff.
Yeah, I think it's like a side-ish upgrade, maybe a little bit of like an improvement overall.
Yeah. I'm interested to see what lists come out of it that are not just horror spam. But
yeah, agreed. And then one of my favorite armies, Idna Deepkin. New battle formations. So Deep Sea Stalkers, passive outflank the enemy while a friendly Idna Deepkin unit is wholly within 9 inches of the battlefield. Subtract 1 from hit rolls for attacks that target that unit. If it is not charged this turn, add 2 inches to the move characteristic of that unit. Sure. I don't know. I feel like this is probably better on like a Reaver spam style of list.
Yeah, if you're taking Reaver spam, you just want to do the Raiders of the Deep or whatever it's called. Like,
yeah, that's true.
Shoot and then pick up again and then...
Right. Yeah, that's probably true. I'm not really playing any spam this edition with IDK. But yeah. And then you've got Ether Sea Predators. This one's really fun. I'm not sure how good I think it is, but Blood in the Water, if any friendly or enemy units were destroyed this turn, pick a friendly Achillean Alopex unit that has been destroyed to be the target, set up a replacement unit identical to the target, wholly within 9 inches of a battlefield edge and more than 9 inches from all enemy units. So in a perfect world, you could theoretically get up to 10 of them back for 10 command points. I don't know. Like, maybe if they like come way down in points, we'll have to see what the book is like when it comes out.
Yeah, I feel like there's just too much value on +1 to hit now.
+1 to hit. Yeah, Beastmasters, it's too good. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Even the book's around the corner too. Like
exactly.
Who knows what's gonna...
that's why I kind of was like, with the whole Deepkin thing, I'm just like, kind of like, okay, cool. Like, if they massively change Alopex in the new book, I could see it being a thing. It's fun. I really think it's super fun. And it's the kind of like outside the box thinking that I like to see. And if you're like leaning into like the shooting, Deepkin with a bunch of sharks, again, it's interesting, so yeah. But yeah, I think Beastmasters is still, the sea's knees, as it were. Heroic traits, any combat phase, Merciless Raider, If this unit is within 6 inches of a damaged enemy unit, this unit can move 6 inches. It can pass through the combat ranges of enemy units, but it must end the move in combat with a damaged enemy unit. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like a cool auto charge sort of thing, as long as they're damaged. You can shoot them with the sharks from earlier or a turtle, you know. Yeah.
It kind of feels like the Dankel Trogoth Rampage, except with the caveat that you have to be within 6 inches of a damaged enemy unit.
Right.
So it's neat, but I feel like what do you get? Ancient Pride.
Yeah.
Is usually what people like right now, right?
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
It's so good. It's so freaking good, man.
So I don't think it beats that.
It sure doesn't, in my opinion. Yeah. And then you got Lord of the Storm and Sea. Each time an ability returns at least one slain model to a friendly unit wholly within 12 inches of this unit. After that unit has been resolved, or after that ability has been resolved, you can return one additional slain model. I think this is like if you're leaning into like Soul Renders and a bunch of Thralls and Namarti, and no one's doing that anyway. But again, the book's just around the corner, you know, boilerplate, whatever. And then you got once per battle, any hero phase. If this unit is a wizard, add 1 to its power level for the rest of the turn. If this unit is not a wizard, it gains wizard 1 for the rest of the turn. In addition, add 2 to casting rolls. Add 2 to the next casting roll or banishment roll for this unit this turn. It's interesting. It's fun. I can see throwing this on a aspect of the sea, but then you're still probably, you know, it's still probably the Ancient Pride Armor of Sithai combo to just make it super tanky and hard to kill anyway.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think so.
Yeah, but maybe if you're having trouble like putting out stuff like in certain metas, if you're going up against Seraphon a lot, or I don't know, maybe. But anyway, and now we've got 2 of these units that they changed. They sure changed them. Thrallmaster, 5 wounds. Anyway, you get the idea. 6 attacks, 3 up, 4 up, 1 rend, 2 damage. And then its Way of the Vortex is just like... Anyway, it's subtract 1 from the rend characteristic of weapons used for attacks that target this unit and friendly Namarti units while they are wholly within 12 inches of this unit. That's interesting because, like, it starts to overcome the Thrall's really, really, really crappy save and the fact that they have 1 health. You know, I don't know. Anyway, and then once per battle, deployment phase, pick this unit and up to 3 friendly Namarti Thralls units wholly within 12 inches of this unit. Each target can use the normal move ability as if it were your movement phase. So it's like a little Vanguard deployment sort of dealy. Yeah, I don't know. Any thoughts?
Interesting. Also, I don't know why my camera's going nuts this stream. But
hey, it's entertainment.
Yeah, it's kind of neat, but it's just like, I think we should talk about the Thrall's War Scroll before we revisit him buffing them.
I think that's probably a good idea. So they're basically the same everything, except for their melee weapons are different now. So they're anti-infantry +1 rend and anti-monster +1 rend. Other than that, they are the same. They don't have the +1 damage against monsters. And then what was the other thing? I can't remember. It was like they keep changing it, like just slightly different, and so I'm conflating the two. But then they also have any combat phase, hit and run tactics if this unit is in combat or charged this turn, which is cool that you get both. This unit can make a pile-in move. Then if this unit is in combat, you must pick 1 more enemy units to be the target, or more, sorry, 1 or more units to be the target of this unit's attacks. God, what a mouthful. Resolve combat attacks against the target units. Then if this unit is in combat, roll a dice. On a 3+, this unit can move a distance up to its move characteristic. It can pass through combat ranges of enemy units, but can only end that move in combat with units if it was in combat with at the start of the move. It does not have to end the move in combat, but it also doesn't say that it doesn't take mortal wounds here, eh? So, but it's basically like a strike and fade, I guess? Like a mini strike and fade?
Yeah.
I'm not
sorry, why would it take mortal wounds?
Well, it's just moving 6 inches. It's not retreating. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. I thought I must have misread it the previous time and remembered.
Yeah, so like it's kind of neat.
Yeah.
Like if you have 20 of these guys, like how much do they cost now? The Scourge, I don't know what is going on with that camera. They're 100 points for 10 guys, so 200 points. You're basically getting.
There's even the new unit is 100 points.
Yeah.
Oh shoot. Okay. Sorry. So, go on, please.
So you're getting 40 attacks on 3s and 4s, Ren 1 damage. So
or Ren 2, depending on fair.
I mean, it's a good chance it's Ren 2 if it's in infantry or monsters.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then they just get to like leave, which is kind of neat.
Right.
On a 3-up. So it's interesting. Like, it's a neat tech piece, I think. And I think it might be one of those things where it's like if you have 200 points left in your army, then sure. And especially like on your run and charge turn, you might it might be really good. Or even on your strike first turn, where like if someone charges into you, you're like, I have strike first and also buy. Like,
yeah, exactly. Well, like it doesn't even have to be this is like because this is a combat phase ability. So before you actually start fighting, it uses this ability, correct? So even if you're not in your strike first turn, if this unit is in combat, this unit can make a pylon move. Then if this unit is in combat, you can potentially fight first anyway, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's neat. Like a lot of people in the comments are saying, like Alex is saying, if you have exactly that many points for thralls left, or Matthew's saying consider a 100-point screen that runs away. Like for sure, it's interesting tech, but I want to see it in the context of the new book.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Like right now, it feels like it's awkward.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't quite fit into like what IDK kind of wants to be doing.
I agree.
It's neat.
It's not what they do well. It's a fight. Oh, it's a fight ability. So this doesn't happen until they fight.
Yeah, exactly.
I
see.
Core fight. Got it. I see. Yes, correct. Thank you. Thank you for the correction. Right. So
it's interesting. Like I don't think it's like incredible.
No.
I think it has the potential to be like a really interesting tech piece, but I think it needs something else to help it out. And then in regards to the Akkelian Thrallmaster, I don't think. What's up?
Well, like let's say they only move 6 inches, right? So like
yeah,
you have to, even if someone else charges you, you have to like, they can't be like too far deep in at all, or they're still going to be. Oh, I guess they wouldn't get to attack you as much because even if they pile in 3 inches, and that's fair. Yeah, it's still pretty good. Fair enough. Okay.
Or like if you're like 8.5 inches away or something, and you charge and you get exactly a half inch away, and they back up exactly 6 inches, then you can't punch them. But like,
that's true.
There's a lot of interesting shenanigans with moving exactly 6 inches, but yeah, it's neat.
Agreed.
And then I don't think that makes the Thrallmaster worth it.
No, I mean I do like the -1 from the Ren characteristic, but yeah. I mean, I think you probably take the old Thrallmaster to make the -1 to hit or whatever it is. I don't remember. I haven't played Thralls in this entire. Oh no, that's not true. I played them once just to take something fun, but yeah. But if you are under points, you can buy enhancements. We have to consider that. Oh, like you mean for endless spells? BV?
Well, they're saying that some things might. We don't know exactly what's going to cost points. Like we know that certain battle formations will, and certain spell lores will, or like manifestation lores.
Oh man, I don't know about making them cost points. That's crazy. Yeah. Your camera's going crazy.
I don't know what's happening.
I'm enjoying it.
We have one more One more thing, though.
The final one. It's the final countdown. Da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da. Yeah. Does it do this like when you're in a meeting or something, like in a Zoom meeting?
No, this is extra crazy. I don't know what's. It might be.
It was zooming in as you were turning your head. That was magic. Please don't correct it. If anything,
maybe it's where my mic is. It's confused about that.
I know Google, like my camera doesn't do this at all, but Google Hangouts also does this.
I see.
So
weird.
It could be like the two interacting. So you've got, by the way, this is the best name of any formation I've ever seen. The Man Skittle Mob. Strike her. Pick up to 2 friendly Mega Gargant units within 3 inches of any terrain feature and pick any friendly Gargant units within 3 inches of any terrain feature to be the target. That's crazy. Okay. So any number of regular Gargants. Is that correct? No? Okay.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Regular Gargants, yes, and then 2 Mega Gargants.
I appreciate the Skaven, yes. Excellent. Double the attack characteristic of each target's ranged weapons for the rest of the turn. If the target has no ranged weapons, pick an enemy unit within 12 inches of the target instead and roll a d3 on a 2-up, inflict the amount of mortal damage. This is pretty fun. I don't know what their regular formations are right now. Like, I don't know how good or bad they are or fun, but this is fun. This is definitely a Rob kind of thing where it's just like, I'm throwing terrain at you, man. I don't know. I agree with what Matthew said, though. He said, I would love it if you can get extra enhancements. Yeah, like if I could have 2 mount traits or something like that, I'd be like, yeah, sign me up. Like, that suddenly sounds really cool. Because, like, a lot of the time, like, our lists now are like, mine's like 1930, and I'm like, there's nothing I can do here. You know what I mean? Like, I can change units, but I don't want to do that. Like, it makes the list worse. And so it just feels bad to be like stuck with like 70 points extra. So, yeah. Anyway, sorry. What were you going to say? Oh,
I was going to say the Gargant's sub-factions right now are like, you have a chain activate one, you have a 6-up ward one, you have a extra artifact one.
Okay.
And then you have a... Where's the last one? Sorry, I had it just up here.
6-up ward one is interesting because when you've got a bunch of freaking wounds, like a 6-up ward is kind of scary.
It's when Mega Gargants are within the combat range of other Mega Gargants, they have a 6-up ward.
Oh, okay.
And then the
not as good.
Stalker tribe is you can pick 2 friendly Mega Gargants or Gargant units that have not used a Rampage ability to use the jump up and down ability instead of one, which is it's the Horde clear one. So not a lot of people bring that one, but I see a lot of people bringing Breaker Tribe and Taker Tribe. Breaker Tribe is the 6-up ward one, and then Taker Tribe is the artifact one.
I think the Man Skittle Mob might be a thing because like they do suffer on the spread map. So if suddenly you're able to do kind of ranged damage on stuff and kind of pull things off, it's kind of, I think it's interesting. I think it might it might clear a problem that they have currently, possibly. And then the other one is Big Toes. Pick a friendly Man Crusher Gargant unit to be the target. Ugh, we're off to a bad start. For the rest of the battle, add 1 to hit rolls for combat attacks made by friendly Gargant units while they are wholly within 12 inches of the target and not wholly within 12 inches of any friendly Mega Gargants units. So this is like basically like the what do you call it? The Flesh Eater Court's mount trait to give +1 to hit, hey? It's like a buffing thing.
Yeah, but it's only to the baby Gargants.
Yeah, that's the issue, right? So you first of all, you have to take like a crappy old model, and second of all, they're not hard to kill. But it is their like, you know, giving a bone to destruction on when everything's hitting on 4s, I suppose. I think that it's still probably better than the Rekkas for Iron Jaws, to be honest. But yeah, anyway, because it's a Man Crusher Gargant unit, and I think you can still reinforce them up to 3, right? Correct me if I'm wrong.
It might just be 2 because you can't double reinforce.
Oh, right. Yeah, sorry, I'm thinking of Last Dish. That's fair. Yeah. So it's still like what, 24 wounds on a 4 up, 5
5
up,
up.
5 up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Anyway, heroic traits, big personalities, hero only. Add 1 to hit rolls for this unit's combat attacks that target an enemy unit contesting an objective you do not control. That's interesting. I mean, it's like a little bit of a
Yep. Like an additional +1 to hit is always welcome.
It really is.
Army.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
going from 4s to 3s is just awesome.
What it's competing with right now is you can basically do Furious Temper, which is +2 attacks, and then -1 to save, but it's once per game or once per battle. Then the second one is Monstrously Tough, which you have a health characteristic of 40 instead of 35, and then Rabble Rouser, which is +1 to charge for Sons of Behemoth units while they're wholly within 12. So no like amazing clear first choice.
No.
The +2 attacks one's really good, but it's once per battle.
Right. And I like this more. I like Grabby more. Like, you put it on like a Beast Smasher or something that like is hitting on 4s that you really want to like go off when it does. And then, even if it's -1 to hit, then you can always all out attack it if you need to. And I like that one, to be honest. And then you've got once per turn reaction, your opponent declared a charge ability for a visible non-monster enemy unit within 12 inches of this unit. What a freaking crazy, right? Your opponent declared a charge ability for a visible non-monster enemy unit. Like, okay. I'm up against all pigs. Like, damn it. Anyway. If this unit is not in combat, roll a dice. On a 3+, you can change one of the dice in that charge roll to a 1. I mean, it is powerful. Yeah, I guess it is powerful because
I kind of like it. Because like if your opponent rolls like a 6 and a 1, a regular charge, you can be like, congratulations, it's Snake Eyes.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, right. That's true. That's a great point. And then if they're like at 8 inches, they just can't make their charge unless they have +2 charge.
Yeah, exactly.
Huh. Right.
Which is pretty good, because that means like your opponent has to be, that makes your redeploy incredibly valuable, because like they get to 3 inches away from you, and then you back up.
Right.
To on
and
average.
It's not once per game, which is how I read it originally. It's once per turn. So
yeah, exactly.
Right. And
so,
like and it's turn again, so it works it works when they countercharge as well.
Yeah, exactly. So this is really good.
This is
I think
strong, yeah.
Yeah, just because like when you're playing against Gargants, the name of the game is like dropping a Gargant per turn, essentially.
Right. Exactly.
And when you can roll a 3 up to just like flub your opponent's charge, essentially. Sure, they can re-roll it, and then this wouldn't apply to that anymore. But like, or no, they declared a charge ability for a visible non-monster. So if they roll the charge,
yeah, the issue does become that like it just doesn't work against like oops all monster enemy or all monster armies in general, or like even if like that's where their hammers are and that's what they really want to get into your Gargants. But like it still seems like a really powerful tool in general. It might still be the best one. It's certainly not Mega Grump, which by the way, I'm like trying not to giggle every time I say that or even look at the word. My cousin used to have, like, when he would go to the washroom number 2, he would say, I got a can of Grump. And I'm still not sure if he means, like, I've got a can of Grump or I have to can a Grump. Like, I never got to the bottom of that. And the colloquial kind of whatever term it was. But now I'm going to start calling him, like, I've got, to my cousin, I'm going to have to tell him I've got a Mega Grump. But anyway, this one is if this unit has a 5-up ward while it has 25 or more damage points. Like, I don't think this is right.
I wouldn't take it over either of the other two. for sure.
Because, I see. Because as soon as it dips below that, right? But like, it doesn't mean you get to like 9 left, right? Because like, if you have, let's say you have 9, like you get to like 10, and then you take another 3 damage. That goes through. So now you're down to 7, and then you only get the 5 up from there, right? Oh, no, I see. Because you're allocating damage points. Right. Yeah, good call. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But still, like 5 up when there's only like 9 or so left or whatever. I don't know, man. Till you finish resolving damage for that fight ability. Is that true?
I don't know. Either way, I don't think anyone's taking this.
Yeah, I like
more
both
brain
of
power
them.
on it.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. I like both of the other ones more anyway. So
Yeah.
and then it's 10 points because I forgot they have 35 health. I was thinking they had 34. And then you got the new Kraken Eater, which whatever. Let's just leave that alone. But 35 health, 4 up save, 20 control, 10-inch move. Hurled debris. They've got 3 attacks, 4s and 3s, 1 Ren, D3 damage. You've got the Shipwrecka War Club, 4 attacks, 4s and 2s, Ren 2, 5 damage, which is cool. And nothing special on there. Spine Shattering Stomp, Anti-Infantry +1 Rens for 4 attacks, 4s and 2s. It'll be 3 Rend on infantry and 2 on everything else, D3 damage. And then Death Grip, 1 attack, 4s, 2s, 2 Rend, D6 damage. What a bunch of stuff that I got to read out. Passive, Son of Behemoth. If this unit would be destroyed, everyone has this. We don't need to talk about it. Everyone has Longshanks, so you can look it up. And then Emerge from the Deep. I believe this is new. I'm almost positive this is new. Your movement phase.
Do the other one first.
Oh, sure. Yeah, sorry. That's a good point. Once per battle army deployment phase. Pick this unit if it has not been deployed. Set it up in reserve beneath the waves, even if you're in the desert. And then emerge from the deep. Pick this unit that was beneath the waves. Set up this unit anywhere on the battlefield more than 9 inches from all enemy units and wholly within 9 inches of a battlefield edge. Yeah, it's interesting. I think I like him more than the current one. I think he's more fun as well. But
yeah, Deep Striking Gargants is kind of neat.
Yeah, it is. I agree.
Cool.
Although, like, you know what would make this better, though? I mean, I know he's the Kraken Eater, and so, like, obviously they have to pick the waves or whatever. But if he was, like, on a beanstalk in the sky or something like that, and he just drops into the middle of the battlefield and then does mortal wounds or something in a bubble, it's just like, if the rule could be, like, fell off his beanstalk or something BS like that. That could have been a sub-faction, by the way. You get to do it for half the units. Oh, man. That would have been fun. Hire me, GW. The 5+ doesn't work until the next fight ability. Again,
very bad.
Why didn't you lead with it? Just kidding. We were talking. There's a delay. Don't take me seriously. But I had to say it. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's cool. I think the Gargants one is pretty interesting overall, to be honest.
Yeah, they got some interesting stuff. I think after recapping everything, I agree with you where Fire Slayer's probably got the biggest glow up.
And this week, god dang.
Whew. And I really appreciate it that it was Magma Droths and not Diaper Dwarfs.
God dang, absolutely.
Like
shots
I'm
fired.
So sick of seeing those.
Yeah, I know. And we don't even know which one we're looking at. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'd rather not be able to tell the difference between 6 models than like 70. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Much rather.
Exactly. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And like the rules are fun and Timmy and everything. Yeah. Honestly though, like the corn rules are really good too overall. I think the corn ones are probably clicking in pretty close this week. Yeah.
KO got some good stuff.
They did. Well. Yeah, I think overall. Really good stuff, actually. Yeah. And they're also getting a rule book. They're getting a new book soon. So it'll be interesting to kind of see, like KO and Khorne are like two of the more frustrating armies to play right now, for me anyway.
Against?
To play against, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't like the sheer shenanigans available to both those armies. It's just like, I don't know, it's like I hate to use the word, but like kind of an NPE, I guess, when you don't get to do a lot of the things. You know what I mean? It's, well, technically because of this rule, I can do this, and then I can do that. You're just like, okay. I just wanted to,
Both of those are armies that would be like awful first time play experiences for a player.
Yeah.
Like if they started the game and their friend was like an experienced Khorne or an experienced KO player, like miserable.
Yeah.
like I'm never playing this game again.
Yeah, exactly. This game sucks. And then vice versa too. It's like, well, but if you're playing to win with KO and with Khorne, that's half you have to play the armies that way. You know? Like I would argue that if you don't play it that way, you know, you're really putting yourself at a disadvantage. So I'm not sure, you know, but they're also like on the block to get new books, both of them, KO and Khorne. So assuming they're not like 90% of the other books that have come out this far and are largely the same as their index, like at some point, surely Khorne is going to get this really fun Timmy army. That's just like a gym bro, like running around and smashing stuff, and they don't care if they die. You know, like that's what they should be at their core. KO feels like the army that should be the like, well, technically, but I don't know. Like I think it's just when they write the rules that way, they're so much harder to balance. Like it feels like they're either top tier and annoying or they're low tier and annoying, but they're never, you know, they're never not annoying to play against. And honestly, like, I think like there's so many people like myself who largely pick armies based on their like lore and or looks, you know what I mean? And not on their rules. Like I pick a little bit by rules, but not much. My main thing is like lore and looks and stuff like that. I think a lot of people are the same way. Some people are like looking at like steampunk skydwarves. That's so freaking cool. What an original idea. Oh, I have to be like a friggin', like I have to really be annoying here, you know, in order to stand a chance. You know, it was like when I first got into Gloomspite Gits and I was like, I want to run all spiders. Oh wait, they're that bad? And like, sorry, my headset cut out. Oh. I think I can hear you.
Hello?
Okay, yeah, okay, I think we're okay. That was weird. But yeah, anyway, that blasted my train of thought, but it was probably not super interesting anyway. Yeah, are you excited for anything in here to play against, or like I feel like that's kind of where, you know, the focus should be, or
I think
play with, you know.
In general, I'm just excited that the new GHB's kind of upon us. It's going to shake things up a lot. You know, we don't even know what the season rules are going to be yet.
No.
Right? We know that battle tactics are going to change. Everyone's getting all these new rules. Like it's going to completely shake the meta, which I'm always excited about. And I've got a couple summer tournaments. Actually, I have 4 summer tournaments this year.
Are you okay with naming them?
Yep. I'm going to be going to the Edmonton Open, which we're not sure if that's going to be on the new GHP yet. I'm going to be going to Battered Bison.
Yeah.
I'm going to be going
Battered Bison's in June, and Edmonton is in
June as well.
June.
It's 2
okay,
weeks
cool.
Before.
Jeez.
Yeah.
So it's early June, and Battered Bison's late June. I think it's the 26th or something. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Tacoma Open in mid to late July.
Okay.
Then there might be like a Richmond reroll or something if it pops up like a local GT. Then that would be fine. But then Northern Wastes August 30th.
Right.
Well.
Yeah. One of the absolute best tournaments of the year. Sick.
And then I'll be going to 5 Alarm, Dayton's tournament out in Sparwood on September 20th.
Oh, sick. Well. Yeah. Andy went there and he loved it. So,
yeah, I heard he had a good time. And I just want to go to more like Canadian tournaments this year because it's something I've been meaning to do. Just
right.
Support. Like I've never Yeah, like it's the first GW Open in Canada. Of course, I'm going to go there.
Yeah,
right?
you gotta go.
I'm going to go back to Winnipeg because the people there are awesome, and Beefy put on a great tournament.
Yep.
I'm going to go back up to Prince George because the people there are awesome and they put up a great tournament. Like it's
if I had to
choice.
pick one tournament, like I would probably it might be that. I don't know, but then the Edmonton Open, like damn, like how do you not go to that? Oh,
yeah,
that's
that one's going to be big too. There's like a lot of big names coming. Like I know, like at least I think 3 people from Team America that are going.
Nice.
Like
to the Edmonton Open.
Yep.
Nice.
So there's gonna be a lot of people are traveling from the US to it. It's just kind of fun. I think it'll probably be like 130 people. Like it's gonna be a lot.
That's what like isn't it currently 130 people or something?
Don't know.
Fair. Yeah. But like the it's a good travel, it's a good destination like location for a tournament because like you can you know what I mean? Like your money goes further and like, you know what I mean? Alberta's like good like that. So like hotels and things like that are not super bad. So
yeah, it's pretty cheap. It's pretty easy to fly to. Like I don't think tickets like my flight was very much. It's relatively central, despite all the Toronto people screaming at me saying that right now. It's it's like an hour flight for me, I think. Hour and 20 minutes or something. Hey. And then from Toronto it would be like 4 hours, which is fine. Yeah, I would fly that much.
Oh yeah.
And half.
Yeah. The shortest flights I typically take are like over 10 hours. So yeah. Here's a question for you, and sorry, I have not been paying attention to the chat for the next little bit. When do you think it's going to come out? Like we've gotten 2 full weeks now, a little over 2 full weeks of previews. Do you think it like this Sunday they're like? Do you think it's like they're gonna?
I don't know if they do this Sunday.
Yeah.
Then what is that? It's a 1-week preview.
Yeah, and then 2 weeks from there.
Announced for pre-order.
Yeah, 3 weeks.
It would come out at Edmonton essentially.
Right.
Which would be. Maybe they'll do that. I don't think they would use it for Edmonton if it comes out on the weekend of Edmonton.
No, but like that's the earliest it could come out then. So therefore, I guess they won't be using it.
I don't think so. I don't think it's going to be used at Edmonton.
That's too bad. But it is what it is.
Yeah. We do know that May 29th, assuming they keep the same pace they have been, May 29th is when they will run out of armies to do Scourge of Ghyran for.
Okay.
And I could see them basically saying like the Sunday after that is the preview, which would mean that it would come out the weekend of the 21st.
And that's
which is 1 week before Battered Bison.
Okay.
And I could see it being out for Battered Bison. It's definitely going to be out for the Tacoma Open. Like we know that for sure. They do that every year. Well, so the new rules are always available for Tacoma.
And usually the GHB, like since Antiquity has come out late June to like, I think once or twice it came out late July, but it's usually mid-July. It's usually like late June to mid-July. So, but also like, it's like, okay, like let's say they did all the previews, right? Let's say they do all the previews and then it's like, okay, well, what are we going to, what are they going to preview and talk about leading up to its actual release? I don't know. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Right? So, like, I could see it being either way. Like, I could see the preview going up this weekend or the final weekend, like you said. You know? But honestly, though, like, overall... Oh, where do you get your dice from? The dice are on there, Scotty. That's Scotty asking, right? Maybe message me because like Canada Post is thinking about striking. But thanks again to everyone who's ordered dice. I said this at the start, but Canada Post is saying they're going to strike on this Friday, and so that is going to mess with sending things. But I can. Like if people want to order directly from me, I can just, I should be able to just send it for the same price as the dice are on Etsy, and send it through chit chats or something like that. But yeah, get in contact with me if you want to. Just email me. Link should be in the description below. It's sagaofdice@gmail.com. But yeah, and thanks for putting that up there, Carson. I wanted to say too, like that this, like them doing these like War Scroll and like overhauls, this whole Scourge of Ghyran thing is freaking cool. Like, this is so awesome, and it's like it's way more work. And yeah, it's like the start of an edition, like it's the first GHB for like the start of a new edition. But like, can we just take a moment and be like, this is awesome and it's free content, you know? Like,
yeah,
you know,
I agree. Yeah, it's really exciting seeing this much stuff come out for the new season.
Yeah.
So I think it's it's really
it's
awesome. Really awesome to see. Like,
I wish I'd said it at the start. I meant to say it at the start. You know what I mean? Because like more people, you know, the further along you go in a podcast, the more people tend to drop out. If you heard this though, and you're watching this video in the future, let me know in the comments, because like, I don't know, like we like you and I call them to task when we think that they're doing something poorly. And this is so awesome. Like, you know, even if like Iron Jaws didn't get like the changes that I wanted or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, you got to just take a moment and just be thankful that like they could have given us nothing, which is what they normally would do and what most people, you know, would expect of them. So I don't know. Yeah. I wanted to say that though, at some point.
And I agree. Ditto, yeah. I say.
Yeah. Yeah. But thanks, Matt Rose, with your dedication to keep the game updating more than army books and GHPs. Whoa, that sounds like shots fired. I think you meant it in a good way. Scourge of Ghyran is almost like getting Dawnbringers, but without having to buy 5 damn books. Exactly. Well, and even like in Dawnbringers, like we did, like to their credit, we did get War Scrolls for free at that point. So like they were doing cool stuff like to a certain extent back then. You needed to like buy the books theoretically in order to get the rules. No one did. It was mostly like lore stuff that people bought them for. But in a very good way, he says, yeah. Yes, I agree with Qual. I think that's the most important update in this entire Scourge of Ghyran, is the update to the Screaming Bell. It's the most iconic Skaven unit, and it's not only playable, I think it's like really good. So I'm excited for that. And Molder finally being playable, all that jazz. Only one GHB has been in June? Did you go back to like AOS 1? Because I don't think that's the case, but I can't remember. It's been many moons since it first came out. So yeah, 2016. But
I don't know. I seem to remember there being a whole thing about how like I think their fiscal year ends in June.
Right.
So they tend to like to not release big things in June and instead save it for July. So right. I wouldn't be surprised if it was like first week of July that came out.
Well, but like I could be wrong, but I thought Leviathan, Warhammer 40K Leviathan came out in like late June. But that could be, you know. I thought when you do like shareholders meetings though, they tend to like be like, we've got this thing coming up before our fiscal year ends, so expect you know. It's like kind of a way of pumping themselves up. You know. Cough Ubisoft. No comment. Yeah. Sorry. Anyway, but yeah, you went back to mid 2.0. Fair enough. Yeah, so thanks to everyone for hanging out. We will be doing more stuff. We've got, 2 more weeks of this, essentially? Or a week and a half?
Yeah, we'll have 7 more to go through next week.
Okay,
for
sure.
We'll have 2 the week after, basically, and presumably more stuff. Because I assume they might also like. It might not be like factions every day, which would vex me greatly because Ogres is the Last Destruction to be talked about, but they might, I don't know, skip a couple and do like terrain or something too. So.
Okay, can I make a counterpoint though?
Yeah.
If ogres is one of the last two, then that means we can just spend like way more time on it, like I did with the Skaven one.
True.
So
I hadn't considered that.
Yeah. GW giveth with one hand and slap Carson in the mustache with the other.
Damn you. Damn you.
It's such a big target though. Well, yeah, anyway, thanks again to everyone for hanging out. You guys were hilarious and informative in the comments as usual. Yeah, I can't think of anything else. So, yeah, thanks everyone for watching, and we'll see you guys next week. Goodbye.